Hey everybody, Zuby here to tell you about my Magic the Gathering podcast, Magic with Zuby. Magic with Zuby is a podcast all about the Magic the Gathering card game. We talk about the latest news and events, the latest cards index. We bring on guests from pro players to content creators and more. Join me each week as we keep discovering why Magic the Gathering is the best card game around.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the VCR Gaming Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Matt, seated
about 15 inches.
About 15 inches for once, and I can look him in the eyes, and it's creeping me out.
Which is really weird.
Somewhere in Spring Hill, Florida, in the back alley of a gaming store is my other host, Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Doing all right. This is like the first time I've done a podcast face-to-face ever.
It's creeping me out a little bit.
It is. It's a little weird.
I don't want to look at you in the face.
I know, right? It's like I want to look at something else. It's like, no.
So Matt, what are we doing here today? Why are we on site? This is weird. We've never done this.
I know. I've never even done this with Magic with Zuby, so it's oh wait, no, I guess count the Grand Prix, but yeah, we are here at NeverBoard Gaming in Spring Hill, Florida.
Yes, we are.
And we are going to be chatting with the owner to see what it's like to open up a game shop and what it's like to run and own one. And then we're going to be talking to some other, I guess, participants in the video game community, especially mainly fighting games more than anything, and that's something that I'm definitely not familiar with.
Me either, man. I mean, this is going to be a learning experience, I think, at best for the both of us. You know, as much as we know games, I mean, fighting is probably our weakest. We play it recreational at best.
I'm really good at Mortal Kombat 2,
Ooh.
But then I'm not really that good at it.
We should host a Mortal Kombat 2 tournament. That would be sick.
It'd be cool if we could do the Matt versus Matt. Well, we probably could. We could probably figure out something.
So we were looking over our Matt versus Matt stuff earlier this week, right? Trying to figure out what our next one's going to be. And one of the games that we put on the list was Mortal Kombat on the Game Boy, on the original Game Boy.
That's so terrible.
If that was 2-player, that would be the best, dude. We would
not
do
2-player?
No, it's not. We could, because I don't think you can play over the link cable. Oh my God, if you could, we could do a Mortal Kombat, Game Boy Mortal Kombat tournament. How terrible would that be?
Oh, it'd be really bad.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. But yeah, so we are here. We're gonna interview some people. This is gonna be a little bit different podcast than normal.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some people in here. We're gonna talk to some people. We've actually got a guy that's gonna do it's a high school esport. Was it Nature Coast High?
Yeah, Nature Coast High School.
Nature Coast High School. He's gonna do an actual tournament here coming up later. We're gonna try to get him on and ask him a whole bunch about it. He's gonna do a Smash tournament for esports for his school. So that's pretty interesting. I didn't even know schools cared about esports.
Yeah, I know, right?
Our schools would be like, throw them shits away. They rot your brain.
Right? They'd be stealing. I mean, I guess that is just a different, what would it be? I guess generational difference. Where, because esports is a lot more prevalent nowadays compared to when, we were growing up and...
Yeah, there's tolerance now as opposed to when we were there.
Because, I mean, there were quote-unquote esports back when we were growing up, like StarCraft and Warcraft and all that.
Nobody took it seriously, though.
I mean, in America, no one took it seriously.
No, definitely not.
And it was, you would just be laughed at if you were like, oh, I'm going to try to play games professionally.
Yeah, they'd be like, okay, maybe you study more.
Yeah.
Quit slacking.
Which, I mean, I know even nowadays it's still hard to become like a pro gamer, but... I mean, it's...
In fact, we did an episode about that.
Yeah, it's slightly more possible nowadays to make a living with playing video games. The hell is that?
Somebody is going to come through the wall here.
I know.
Well, another thing, too, is, like, there's plenty of, like, teachers and stuff that are our age. So that also, I'm sure, is helping.
That's another scary thing, too.
Yeah, so...
That's weird.
Pretty interesting. Let's get into what we've been doing this week, what we've been playing, and what we're drinking, which is currently nothing.
Actually, nothing.
I could use a drink, actually, as a
I
matter
could
of
use
fact.
a beer.
A beer? I'm down with that. Shit.
Yeah, too bad we can't bring alcohol in here.
Well,
live at NeverBoard Gaming.
Yeah, we can just walk across the street and slam one at Chili's or something.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So what have you been up to, man?
I don't know. What have I been up to?
Work.
Yeah.
We're a couple days early on this podcast. Normally we've had the weekend to kind of do things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far it's been just work.
Oh, that's right. I was talking to you last night, so my NES Classic isn't turning on and all that. And
Dude, that depressed the shit out of me, man.
yeah, and it's... So I need to try what you told me to do, try a different outlet and all that, but I'm just... I didn't feel like
Try
it last
that,
night.
and then if not, give it to me. Let me look inside. If there's anything physically damaged, we can probably
I hope
order
not.
it.
I really freaking
If
hope
not, I'm telling you, you can ship stuff to Nintendo for very little money. They will repair it. They're pretty good about
because
that.
I see how much they're selling them for right now. It's like $150 for a NES Classic.
Matt, why don't you just do what the internet says and just get a Raspberry Pi and put it all on there,
Yeah,
okay?
they can fuck off with that shit. God, I hate that. Like,
know.
I don't understand why people buy this. It's just use a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, I have a computer. I can play all the emulation games I want.
Ever.
On a
In
computer.
fact, we do on Matt vs. Matt. Hey,
Yeah, we do. Hey,
plug.
plug. Which we could bring that up real quick.
Let's do
We're
it.
going to try to do another Matt vs. Matt. As of we're recording, because we're going to release this next Thursday. We're recording on a Friday, a little bit early. We're not doing our live show this week, obviously.
Sorry.
Well, it is live, but it's not streamed live, I guess we should say. Because
It's
this
recorded
is
live. It's live to you and I.
Yeah. But so we're actually going to try to do another stream next Thursday, the day of this podcast comes out, of Matt versus Matt. Who's better at Zombie Ate My Neighbors?
That's
or
right.
Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Zombies Ate My Neighbors on the SNES.
Or
Because
is it Zombie Ate My Neighbors?
Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Okay.
So, because we only have the technology to stream at the same time on the same channel remotely up to 16-bit.
Which we're going to try a different remote software program that might work better than our little setup we've been trying.
This sounds sketchy.
So, well, we need to test it out first, obviously. So, but yeah, we're going to see who can get the farthest. There's 48 levels in Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and we've got an hour to see who can get the farthest. It's not going to be based on high score, right? We agreed it's going to be...
I think progression in that game is the
Yeah.
key. That's a progression-based game. Like,
Yeah,
you
and
have to get certain points.
The last time I even played that game, I had to have been 12 or 13, I think.
I was
Maybe.
probably even younger than that, or that at the oldest, and I remember the game. I
Yeah.
don't remember really where to go or what to do, so this should be pretty fair.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the game as in the levels. Like you start off in a neighborhood. I do remember there's like trampolines you can jump on, and I remember
Okay.
there's like football fields you go to. But other than like the actual layout and the only thing I remember about the game is to progress through the next level, I think you have to kill all the zombies in
You
each
do,
level.
and sometimes it's hard to find the last
Yeah.
one or something like that. I
Yeah.
do remember that.
So that's going to be fun.
Is there
that
like
we're
a schoolyard playground or something
Yeah,
too?
yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. So this will be cool, man. I'm really
Yeah.
excited. I haven't played this in a while. I'm not gonna like playing it on my Xbox controller on the PC though.
Well, that's what I've got too.
I
so.
know. I really need a SNES controller for
we
a
really
game
need
like
to
that.
just invest in some USB SNES controllers.
We need to get
and all
those 8-bit DOE controllers because
The Hori ones? Or
No,
the-
8-bit DOE. They're
Oh yeah. You showed me those.
they're pretty damn close to the actual stuff, and they're Bluetooth,
Yeah.
so we can use them with modern consoles, old consoles, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
We apologize for the background noise, guys. We are in a live environment, as we said earlier. So
Oh, yeah. So-
what have you been playing, dude? You've actually been playing some shit.
I know. I've finally been playing games. I feel like I'm slowly
Zuby came
getting
out of
my rut.
his rut. Yes, he's in a better mood. Like,
And it's I mean, well, you and I have talked about this. Like the last time we talked about this, because when I went on my like 12-day vacation during Christmas, I played like 6 or 7 games and beat them all, like
Right.
one after the other one, and that's
Right.
that I don't do that very often. And ever since then, I've just been sort of like, I just don't feel like playing anything. I did get into Civ 6 for a little bit, which I do want to get back into. But yeah, so this week, my kids have been super into Stardew Valley, and so I've been watching them play, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go
give
and
it
play
up.
some Stardew Valley.
That's
yeah.
enough.
Yeah. Give me the Switch now.
Get your greasy kid fingers off my Switch.
Dude.
I know, Matt. I know
Both
the
of
struggle.
them, and I tell them before you even touch it, you're gonna wash your hands, wash your face, because what if you're like gonna lick the screen or something?
Dude, so Aiden comes up to me last night and he's like, "Oh, I can't hear what so-and-so is saying. They can hear me, but I can't hear them." I go to grab the controller. Dude, I feel bad because I know he likes the controller, and he didn't do it intentionally, but dude, he friggin' broke the headphone jack inside the Xbox controller.
Oh man.
Yeah, so
Oh, man.
kid problems, but I feel
dude.
bad because it was a Christmas present. It was like the only thing he asked for was a
Yeah.
Minecraft Xbox controller.
Oh man.
So, but kids, man, they're rough
Yeah,
on this shit, dude.
they're like, my kids have destroyed the Wii U gamepad. It's
not easy to get.
It's not that it's destroyed. It's the speakers are completely ruined on it. And I'm so frustrated about it. But so I've been playing Stardew Valley. I've been working on my farm. I planted some strawberries.
Right.
My green beans just came into fruition, and I'm pickling my green beans now.
Fascinating.
I got to the bottom of the mine. There's 120 levels of the mine, and I got to the bottom of it. And you'd think it gets harder, but no, all you need is just better weapons as you get down, and it's easy to find the weapons. You can either buy them if you have a lot of money, or you just find them by killing stuff. So, I mean, the mine wasn't hard. It just took a while because it takes a long time to get to the bottom. And then I'm upgrading my barn right now. I got some rabbits. One of them dropped a rabbit's foot, which apparently...
They drop it because that's the family-friendly version of how you get a lucky rabbit's foot.
You don't actually just plop it down on the table and take a little hacksaw and just...
I think they use bolt cutters, but they're already dead.
Oh, yeah.
And now you know.
Oh, bolt cutters.
Bolt cutters, yeah.
Okay.
That's usually how they cut
I'm going to have to remember that.
That's super creepy and dark, and I'm sorry that I know that.
What's funny is there's a weapon in the game that you use an insect head with its pincers to fight off monsters. And I'm like, well, maybe I could use that for the rabbit now.
Oh, my God. You said they make wool, too, and that kind of disturbed you slightly as well.
Well, it was just like, wool, why?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, like we were talking about the long-haired rabbits and all that stuff, but... I mean, they just look like little bunnies that, you take at a little store that are like this big or whatever.
Yeah.
But, so I've been working on that, and I've been playing Mario Odyssey again. Just really going. I'm trying to complete each world now, and I've completed the first two ones, the hat world, the Cappy one.
Yep.
I forget the name of it, and then I completed the caveman one, the prehistoric one.
I did the same thing with you. I stopped at I'm on the next one right after the Cappy world.
Yeah, the prehistoric one where you
that's right. That's the one that I'm on as well.
And I'm almost done with the Sand Kingdom.
Okay.
It's just I've just got a few that are lingering here and there, and I'm just like can't find them, and I'm trying not to go and cheat by looking it up.
YouTube.
But it's probably going to come down to a point where I'm just like, what the fuck is this goddamn star or moon?
Yep.
Whatever the hell.
Moon, whatever.
Yeah.
We're old school, so N64,
Yeah. So, and then I've also been playing World of Warcraft still. The wife and I are still chugging along. We're like level...
How's she liking her PC?
Oh, dude, she loves it.
Yeah. She stay off yours now?
Oh, yeah, completely.
You can remote in during the day and like Gilmore Girls or whatever it was and playing on your PC? Yeah.
No, she stays off it completely. And she loves it. And we've been playing WoW. We try to play at least once a night or once a week at night. And we have our own characters we made. I made a Blood Elf Priest. She made a Blood Elf Hunter. And that's the only class she plays is Hunter. She will not play any other class. She has like 20 hunters now because she'll play one, get it up to like level 50 or something. Like, okay, I'm bored. Start a new one. I'm like, you don't even get it to max level. She's like, oh, I don't care.
Oh my gosh.
But the characters we're playing now, we're trying to get to max level. We're level 20. We've still got 90 levels to go. But we probably progress about 3 to 5 levels each time we play. Because we play for about 2 to 3 hours.
That gives y'all something to do for quite a while, which is rare.
And we've got a couple months before the new expansion drops, which is August 14th, which I want to talk about. Okay. And I'm super excited about that. And that's pretty much it for my video game playing. Still watching Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
I'm right at the end of the Frieza saga now. Goku's a Super Saiyan, and he's basically kicking Frieza's ass left and right. And yet when Goku first turned Super Saiyan, it wasn't as epic as I remember as a kid.
Hold on, I just thought of something. Lexi, do kids watch Dragon Ball?
Kids watch Dragon Ball Super.
Super. They don't watch Z at all?
Which is over now.
Yeah? Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
It's more like they play Dragon Ball.
They play it more than they... Okay.
The card game or the video game?
The Xenoverse 2 and Fighter Z.
Okay.
Which is pronounced Fighters. By the way, I won my set. Yay.
Nice. Congrats, man. Oh, no. So there you go, guys. So they watch Dragon Ball Super. I can't.
Which is...
I can't, bro. I can't.
Which, I mean, Dragon Ball Super is fine. I mean, I haven't seen every single episode, but I finally watched the end of it, and it's
how
good.
do you watch that and not watch the previous story to that?
I mean, you technically don't really need to watch it.
Right.
Because the show does do a lot of good job of showing flashbacks for certain stuff that are really important. But yeah. So still been watching that. What about you, man? What have you been playing?
Man, I'm sorry that I don't have anything new, but I do have some shit I can talk about, though.
Okay.
I am playing, of course, Fortnite. Actually, yeah, let me get into that first. So I'm still playing Fortnite. Play with a buddy of mine, EJ, and a couple of his buddies, Eric and Cody. And, we play a couple nights a week. We get on, play squads mostly. And something cool happened today. So Eric apparently in I want to say it was some type of like sports gambling thing. He won like $600.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wait, in Fortnite? Or
No,
is this just
no,
like
sports.
unrelated.
Okay. He's a big sports nut guy. And he's like, I guess he's tired of all of us looking like noobs as a squad when we play. So he bought a bunch of gift cards for Xbox.
Oh.
So he bought a whole bunch of gift cards on Xbox and gave each one of us $30. So when we get on next, we can all pick the same suit so that we can be the same. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool of him. Actually, I didn't expect that.
Cool.
It's kind of fun.
Does that follow your account no matter what console you're playing on?
Yeah, it does, provided using the same account. Now, the only stipulation, one thing that doesn't work from device to device is you can get free stuff from your Twitch Prime in Fortnite. The console or system that you open that up on, that's it. It's stuck there.
Okay.
So anyways, you're kind of, that's the only limitation, but I believe it does follow you around otherwise. Yeah, because my parasol and all that I won follows me no matter what I'm on. So
did I tell you that my account keeps getting locked, my Epic account?
Somebody's trying to hack it.
And that's apparently it's happening to a lot of people.
They want those V-Bucks, man. They're trying to steal them.
What
V-Bucks, yeah.
I mean, I have like maybe 2 hours played.
Wouldn't it be crazy if that's like the new cryptocurrency is V-Bucks?
Oh my god. Oh god. No, but apparently it's a thing that's happening to a lot of people, apparently.
That makes sense. Like, that happens, like, in a lot of games. Like, Diablo 2 back in the day, it would happen and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so Fortnite's still going on, still squadding up on that, still suck at it.
Is there two-factor authentication with Fortnite?
With Epic? No.
Oh, so they need to implement that.
If there is, I'm not aware of it. I guess they probably have a hard time doing it with the whole Xbox thing.
Yeah, well, they need to implement that because, like I said, apparently it's happening to a lot of people.
Yeah. So. The other thing I've been doing is I finally have gotten more time in on Far Cry. It doesn't mean I made much progress in the game.
Yeah, you were telling me.
But definitely been playing more Far Cry. Still like it. It's pretty cool. I don't know. There's just too much to do, I think.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing, especially if you have time.
Yeah.
But like I was telling you, I played for like 2 hours last night, and I literally got nowhere. I freed a small area, like a little like a farmhouse.
Yeah.
Like I took it back over. I fished a little bit, which got me some points, and then I got kidnapped.
Oh, shit.
Again, and you have to do that. You can't. There's no getting out of it. You have to escape and all that. Yeah. And it's cool because it is part of the story, and each one is different. It's not like it's the same thing every time.
Yeah.
It's like something you do in the game pisses them off, and they come and kidnap you, and you have to escape. So that's the second time that's happened to me. But in 2 hours, that's the only 3 things I accomplished. I really didn't get anywhere in the story. So if I had any complaints to make, it would absolutely be that. Man, I really hope we're not. You guys streaming?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
hope we're not bugging too bad.
They don't do sound on it.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Apologies, gentlemen. It's a live environment here, guys. So bear with us.
Yeah. So it's going to be pretty noisy.
It happens
in the background.
Just making sure we're not bothering anybody either. So yeah. So Far Cry 5 is still pretty cool, dude. I will tell you too. There's no escaping like conflict in that game.
Okay. So you can't just find like a little quiet place to do something.
If you went deep into the woods or something, the wooded areas, you probably can. But even yeah, dude, seriously. So I tried. I was fishing, and there was a plane that just kept dive bombing and shooting at me. So like,
wait, what?
Yeah. Like it just so happened that he flew over me and he saw me, so then he wouldn't leave me alone.
That's funny.
So I literally. So this was another thing that took a bunch of time last night. Luckily there was a seaplane in the lake that I was fishing on. I take the seaplane, I go have to chase him away from me, and then fly all the way back, and then I could fish. It's just like even where you think you would get left alone, there's a chance somebody's going to come and bother you, and that does kind of get old. Now I haven't freed an entire area or faction or whatever you want to call it yet, so that may change.
Okay.
When I free an area, it might be safe there, but you're done there when that happens, so I don't know why you'd really be hanging out there.
Sort of like Far Cry 4, like when you finish an area, there's really no
There's
point.
really no bad guys left. There's no reason why
unless
you'd
you
be
have
there.
to craft kill animals in that area and all
exactly.
that. Yeah, so I remember that.
Exactly. But as far as gaming goes, that's pretty much been it for me. The weekend is coming, so if I wasn't here, I'd actually be gaming. So I will have more to report next time around. I'll probably have a lot to report by the next time we record. So yeah. As far as what I've been doing all week, really not much, man. Going to work, usual
Pretty
stuff.
much what it feels like, just working.
Went to my kids' karate and things like that. So
That's good. That's good.
And again, I'm drinking nothing. I should have got something.
Yeah. But well, we've got 3 quick stories here.
Okay.
First one, I've already mentioned a little bit earlier. Battle for Azeroth comes out August 14th, 2 days before my birthday, and I took my birthday off, by the way. My birthday, because my birthday's on a Thursday, I took that Thursday and Friday off.
You're getting ridiculous with these PTO requests, bro.
Well,
I gotta say.
I mean, I don't want to get too deep into the reasons why, but you know the reason why I'm taking all these days off. And so I can tell you already on my birthday, I'm going to be grinding that WoW. I'm going to be... You're going to, like, call me up from work, be like, Zuby, the whole network's down. I'm going to be like...
You're not even going to answer. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm going to be like, yeah, whatever. Keep playing my freaking druid.
Throw
and all
your
that.
phone into, like, the toilet or something. Like, forget this.
You remote into my PC, see me playing WoW, and I'm just going to be like, I unplug the internet. Still play WoW somehow.
Pair it to a hotspot or something weird.
Yeah. No, but yeah, so I'm super excited about that. They've announced that they're going to release some more allied races that you're going to be able to get through unlock doing quests, but they still haven't even talked about what they're going to be doing with the current allied races that are out right now, because in order to get the current allied races, you have to grind so much current content out right now. So what's going to happen if someone brand new, like say you join WoW when the new expansion drops?
Sure.
How are you going to get those current allied races? Are you going to have to go and play old content? Most people aren't going to want to play old content in order to get
They
the
want to
races.
start off with the new stuff. This is something we touched on before when it was originally, we were looking on the website, I believe, with it, right?
And so they still haven't even announced what they're going to be doing with that. So I'm a little bit irritated about it, because I don't have those current allied races because I don't have the time to grind for all that.
Right.
But it's so, like I said, we still don't know. Whole bunch of new stuff's coming out with the game. I need to read more about what's coming out so we can talk about it. But I'm super excited about it. Wife and I are going to be playing it for sure. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome, man. Well,
you want to talk about the next one?
I do.
The remake that's coming out in September?
So, and I don't think you're going to like my opinion on this.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
So we have an awesome new trilogy coming out. You guys have probably heard of it by now, especially since this is coming out like a week from now. But we have Spyro the Dragon is being remade.
Which I am excited about.
I was, and I am. I guess I am, because I want to play it or whatever. But it looks pretty cool. They completely revamped it. It's not any weird port or anything like that, which would be awkward to port a PS1 game all the way up to current. This thing's gonna be out on all the different consoles, correct?
Except Switch.
It'll probably have. I would be surprised if it didn't eventually show up on Switch, because the same people that made this.
Oh, the Crash Bandicoot. Yeah.
Made Crash Bandicoot, and that is coming out
That
on
is
Switch.
coming
or
out.
is out.
And
Yeah.
Is it coming out this month or next month?
It's soon. I think it's soon. So the thing is, too, that you got to think, Matt, when you think about stuff that's going to come out on the different systems, especially the Switch, is and this is super nerdy, nerd alert, ARM architecture. It's like cell phone code.
Yeah.
Whereas the PS4, Xbox, and PC are all the same. So it takes a while longer to port it over to that environment, which brings me to the point, why aren't we seeing more of these games? If they're going through the trouble to port them to ARM, why are we not seeing some of this stuff on mobile? It's high time that we got real full games on mobile. I mean, there's not enough, you know?
I don't want full
I'm
games on my
tired of
cell
freemium
phone.
games, man. I hate them.
I know, but I mean, I've already got games on my cell phone that I'll play, like Final Fantasy 6, 9.
That's
and
true. They did port all
Tactics,
those. They did port all those.
Which I do want to get the other Final Fantasies, but I still hate the graphics what they did for 6.
So on the PC, they're fixing that. Did you hear that? They're changing it back.
They're fixing it for Chrono Trigger, though.
Chrono Trigger.
And that's it.
Right, true,
They're not
true.
fixing it for any of the other ones like 4 or 5 or 6. Or
Still,
anything.
at least they listen to everybody and they're doing that. And that actually kind of brings me to something. So that's an instance, right, Matt, where newer graphics didn't win over older graphics, right?
Yeah.
For sure. That brings me right back to where we started with Spyro. I prefer the PS1 pixelated 3D wonky.
I can see that.
I like it. So you and I were watching that video, right, where they compared them side by side. I wanted to play that old one so much more.
Well, yeah, because that's what I remember playing on PS1, and I agree with you that I have fond memories of the pixelated one, and so does Jazzy, actually, because that was one of the games I had that we used to play a lot when she was younger. She loves Spyro the Dragon.
Super easy for kids to pick up on, too.
She never liked the ones past 3, when they came out on PS2 and GameCube and all that. She hated those because they were terrible.
Right.
They tried to make Spyro edgy and all that.
Yep, aware.
So she loves the first one, and I agree. I have fond memories of it, but I'm still excited for this remaster because I like the new graphics of it. Sort of like Crash Bandicoot. Like, I still have fond memories of the very first one looking all pixelated, but the new graphics of the remaster look really good, though. For it.
They do. They look really, really good. And this is another thing that you're not going to like that I say, though, and I said it before. It looks like Fortnite.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It does. It does, man. Like, the way the grass is.
I mean, but is that really a bad thing when it comes to Spyro?
It's not, and that will ensure that no matter what console and on, it runs smoothly and nicely. Obviously, it's I guess they call it cel-shaded, even though it's really not. But think of that, and that's what you're going to get. And, I mean, and it does look, amazing, truthfully. Especially, I'm holding one up now, so you guys can't see it, but, It really does look really good.
It looks really good. I'm super excited. That's going to be a day one purchase for me, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Day one.
Because, dude, my kids are excited about it. I'm excited. Even my wife wants to play it, too. If she wants to play a game, it
says something.
Because she wanted Crash Bandicoot so bad. And remember?
Did she play that? I remember you got it, right?
Yeah. And remember, I couldn't find it at stores anywhere, and then I found it at Target or whatever by us, and so I'm excited about it.
I'm definitely. It's not day one. I'm more likely to go buy the old one.
Yeah,
sooner than I get that,
yeah.
and that's just me. I know, but it made me want to play the game again.
Yeah,
at the least
for sure.
But no, it's pretty cool, and it's only gonna be $40, right, for all 3 games.
And then if you have Amazon Prime, it'll be $31.
Dude, you can't honestly for 3 games. I think the original Spyro, the first one only is
$35.
Is like $30 or $35 anyway. So there you go. So anybody that's a retro hater or only wants to play on new shit or whatever, this is, and I'm sure it'll be well done.
And it is a fun game. It brings back the kind of games that you don't see too much. You saw the ukulele game try to bring it back, the platformer, the platformer where you explore, like Mario Odyssey is a good example. They're trying to bring those types of games back, those collecting games, and that's what Spyro is, one of those kind of games.
It's
collecting
a collection simulator. Yeah.
And for a long time, those games were not really around. You could consider Mario Galaxy to be sort of a collecting game, but they were very linear collecting games.
True. This is more kind of find everything.
Yeah. This is more open world.
This was honestly, I wouldn't put it up there obviously with like a Mario 64 by any means.
No.
But on the PlayStation, it actually might be one of the closest things that you would get to a similar kind of experience.
I could see Spyro, like PS1, the very first Spyro, that could be probably in my top 20 or top 30 games.
Of all time?
No, not of all time, but just PS1.
PS1 games.
Yeah.
Man, you got a lot of PS1 games that you like.
There's so many JRPGs on PS1.
That's a good point. It was kind of like the heyday
of JRPGs.
Yeah, you're right.
That was my jam back then.
True. All right, so the next topic that we have, Matt, is something that's it's pissed you off, to say the least.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it.
When I asked you when you brought this topic up to me, and I asked you about it, and I asked what you thought of it, and
is it good or bad?
You responded one word, sorry,
2 words or 3 words.
What do you think? To which I responded.
Or did I say, what do you think?
Words.
Or no, I think I said, take a guess.
Take a guess. That's what you said. Take a guess. And I guessed hate. And I was right. Now,
So
what is it, Matt?
so
Why do you hate it so?
I will talk about the headline real quick, and then I'll go into my own experience with it. Amazon is wanting to do a Lord of the Rings TV show.
Okay.
And before we get even any further with that, let me preface. My grandfather, God bless his soul, was the one who introduced me to The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings when I was about,
You had a
I
cool
want to say
grandpa, dude.
8, 9, or 10, way before the movies even came out. And so I was obsessed with The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and I've read, the Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, the Book of Lost Tales, all the writings of Middle Earth, the Shadows of Middle Earth, where it really talks about how Tolkien created the story.
Okay.
I've read all his poems. I've read his translations of Gil-galad. I mean, not Gil-galad, Beowulf, and oh shit, what's that other one? It's another one about a knight.
I know literally 4% of what you're talking about.
But so I've read almost all of Tolkien's works
Okay,
before. So
fair enough.
you can say that not that I'm the most knowledgeable about the world of Middle Earth, but I do know a fair amount.
Okay.
So the movies came out, Lord of the Rings came out. I really liked them. Still not. I still can't watch the theatrical cuts. It has to be extended editions only. I still have my complaints of them too, because especially there were a lot of liberties taking in the Two Towers that I was not fan of at all, and that could be a whole episode in itself. Then the Hobbit trilogy came out, and while I enjoy them as movies, I enjoy them
As book adaptations, they're shit.
As movies go, they're fun, enjoyable movies. But as far as a book adaptation, it is probably the worst book adaptation ever.
They miss a lot, or did they change too much? Why?
So The Hobbit is about 300 pages.
Yeah.
And they took a 300-page book and made it into 3 movies. The last movie, The Battle of Five Armies, is about a page long, and they made it into an almost 3-hour movie.
They took a lot of liberties then.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like I said, I can separate the movie from the book with The Hobbit, but they're decent movies on their own, but as far as a adaptation, they're terrible. So that's just to preface Lord of the Rings. I'm very much obsessed with it. I love it. I know so much about it, not just the movies and then the books and the world. So when I hear that Amazon is wanting to do a Lord of the Rings TV show, my first reaction is why? There's no point. Are they? And we don't even know anything about what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, is this a reboot? Is this a made-up story in that saga? Is it a spin-off? Is it characters that technically we didn't know existed, or they were B characters? And is it their story? What?
So the only things that I've heard about anything related to the story is Andy Serkis, who played Gollum, has said he's interested in appearing in this, and Ian McKellen, who played Gandalf, is interested in appearing in this as well.
Okay.
So that almost tells me this may be a prequel to Lord of the Rings. It takes place in between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, because in the books there's about 60 years that take place, or is it 50 years? It's a long time span between the end of The Hobbit and the beginning of Lord of the Rings. So there is a lot of story in between that you could tell, but why?
Right.
Is the real question. And another thing that I don't like is I know they're hanging on to the Lord of the Rings name because it was so popular and made so much money.
Right.
Why
they call that good business.
Why do they have to keep latching on to the Lord of the Rings story? If you've read the Silmarillion, the Lord of the Rings story is such a small, minute part. Literally, the Silmarillion reads like the Holy Bible.
Okay.
When you get near the end where they even start talking about the events of Lord of the Rings, it's barely a page. It's maybe a page and a half, if I remember correctly. And the book itself is over 1,000 pages, the Lord of the Rings book.
Yeah.
But Silmarillion, there's so much other history involved in not just Middle Earth, but Arda and the Lost Lands, Beleriand, the Elvish lands. And it's why keep going to Lord of the Rings? I get it. It's money, and people recognize it and they're familiar with it. It's safe, but it's if you're gonna do something in Lord of the Rings, do something based on the Silmarillion. But even then, it would be terrible because, like I said, the Silmarillion reads like the Bible, and if you tried to translate the Bible into a movie, you're going to be jumping around 5 million places.
Just read the book of thy hobbit feet.
Well, no, you've read the Bible, right? Or some of it, or most of it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, as you know, when you're reading it, it jumps around a lot. Like,
oh my God,
it's not a coherent
It's super
story.
hard to follow. Yeah.
There's parts of it that it follows like a story, because but it's like going from bits and
Yep.
pieces. Like each chapter is
I
like
see. So it's like that.
it's similar to that.
I gotcha.
But it won't translate well to a movie or TV show.
The question is,
What is it
it's
going
not
to be
even
about?
no, it's not even a question. You're gonna watch it though, aren't you? I know you are. At least initially.
Yeah, to check it out. Yeah.
So we'll have to see if you're gonna eat your own words on that or not.
I mean, like I said, I worry like what it's going to be about. Like, is it where can they take this? Because I mean, if it's going to take place after Lord of the Rings, that's boring, because there is stuff that does happen after the events of Lord of the Rings, but pretty much Tolkien sort of wrote this as a sort of fantasy history of our world, right? So technically, in his mind, after the events of Lord of the Rings, it then proceeds into our history.
Gotcha. So
because he calls, like, when the events of Lord of the Rings end, it's called the Age of Man, which is our age right now. So I mean, I can only guess it's probably going to take place in between that span of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and like I said, I'm going to watch it, but I'm going to be critiquing the hell out of it.
Well, let's see. When is it supposed to come out?
I don't even think they've announced any. They literally just announced how much money they're spending, which is $250 million.
$250 million, which is a lot for a TV show,
and
especially one that only has like one season approved.
And that they want to do 5 seasons of it.
Want to and signed on for 2 totally different things.
Yeah. So apparently they're wanting that Game of Thrones money. This is probably
that's what they're going after.
This is probably their answer to
that's
Game
them going
of Thrones.
after that. That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know.
Well, there you have it, guys. So
I'm also just also reiterate, it was I don't want to get into what exactly I said to you, because it's not the most friendly on the show, but
so we're worried about being friendly now.
Well,
we have standards all of a sudden.
But I'm afraid that they're going to take a lot of liberties with the story.
Of course,
they took a lot of liberties in The Hobbit, obviously, because they took
short.
It's so short. Yeah. But I'm just afraid that they're just going to make up a bunch of shit, and it like stuff that doesn't even happen, characters that don't exist, and it's like. That is the stuff that annoys me. That's what annoys me in Game of Thrones. I mean, even though Game of Thrones is already past the books, it's just during the seasons
but at least they have the guy that wrote the books on the show, like doing the show.
He doesn't. He just helps the writers. He doesn't actually write it, though.
But it's still coming from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the difference. So it's a little more, in my eyes, a little more acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, but there's still some things I don't even like Game of Thrones does that the books do better.
True.
Like Lady Stoneheart, for one.
Awesome. Well, so there you have it, guys. So hang around. After this, we are going to shoot over to all of our interviews and interactions and everything that we had here at NeverBoard Gaming. So far, it's been pretty cool. They've been pretty hospitable to us.
Yeah.
Everybody seems pretty nice. So hang tight and check out some of that content. So we just sat down with Bobby, the owner here, NeverBoard Gaming.
What's up?
And he is gracious enough to have us in his store tonight and let us set up in back. Man, this is great. We got our own table.
Yeah,
like what's
man.
up, man? Baller.
First class
we're
for you
official.
guys, man. First class VIP.
I was thinking we was gonna be standing in the corner with
with our little recorder.
with a hand recorder. But this is great, man. So tell me, man, why a gaming shop? Why a tournament center? What would you call this? I guess would be the first question to ask.
I'd call this dreams coming true.
Dreams coming true. Okay.
For me and a lot of my friends and family here, everything that we do here in-house is basically all passion. So from doing Magic to video games to now we're getting into Dragon Ball and soon enough Pokemon. These are all things that
Pokemon card game?
Yes.
Ooh, I did not know that.
Yes. So we have a lot of demand.
That's actually good to know, because my wife is she won't play Magic with me, but she'll play Pokemon.
Yeah, she's super into that, huh? I'll have to bring my son down. He plays Pokemon too. So.
And that's what's driving me. I have 3 sons myself. They all like to play. Even my youngest one's going to turn 3. He's already getting ready to get into it. My other one is 6 and 9, and they play Magic, Dragon Ball, and Pokemon, of course. So that's what makes me get Pokemon next.
Ooh,
Wow.
nice banana.
So are you like local to Spring Hill?
Oh yes.
You from here
Oh
originally?
no. I'm from South Florida, West Palm Beach.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right.
Born and raised down there. Moved up here after I graduated high school in 2002. Show my age a little bit.
Hey, I graduated in 03, man. You're in good company
Okay,
right now.
I feel much better.
Oh,
Okay.
04, yeah,
Okay,
so-
much better. But yeah, moved up here and opened up a high performance shop, and I did that for about many years until a couple years ago.
So you're
and
a
then-
car guy as well?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
dude,
Oh,
I'm
dude,
a hardcore car guy. Yeah. So,
Yes.
all right,
I know
so
a
we can
thing
get
or-
into that in a minute.
Yes,
but
yes.
I know a thing or two about carburetors.
he doesn't.
Yeah.
Don't ask Matt anything
Well,
about
I know
cars.
about transmissions, and that's probably about as far as that goes.
Hey, man, that's a dark art, transmissions.
exactly.
It really
High
is.
performance transmissions too. I did that for about 15 years.
We really have to have a talk then
Yeah, yeah.
outside of gaming,
Yeah,
but we'll save
third
that.
generation transmission builder from going
Oh,
down.
nice.
Dang,
Yeah.
nice, man, nice. So, sorry, so you're from Spring Hill, or you live in Spring Hill. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes, live in Spring Hill now. Yeah.
So what happened? You saw a void. There was a lot of gamers in the area. You knew of this, or was it a gamble? Like what makes you
No.
decide I want to open this up here?
Honestly, there was a local game group called TDG. I
Throwdown
met,
Gaming.
yes, amazing people. I mean, make a shout out to Donnie and John and one of my best friends, Sako. These guys really introduced me to the game and what you can do with it. And there's a possibility of actually making income and providing for my family and doing something that I enjoy. So this has been the travel trying to get here.
So I noticed that you guys stay pretty popular. Matt comes out a lot. He's told me a lot about it here. Has it been so far completely positive? Has there been anybody
Yeah.
trying to hate? Like how's it been so far?
There's always going to be haters. I mean, no matter
yeah.
what I do.
Yeah.
But compared to anything I've ever done, I've never experienced such joy doing anything. I mean, I've been, I guess, in the automotive industry, like I was saying, it's, you can do the best that you can. You put the best parts in there. You can hire the best guys. They can do the best work, and some things just break. So, and no matter what, people won't give you a chance to say anything. It's just a broken product, so they just rip you to pieces. I don't have that here. We have the opportunity to say, when they come in, I get to give them a hug and say, thank you so much for coming in. I
Yeah.
appreciate your business. It's me. I don't have to be a malfunctioning part to go back and rip
Yeah.
my business to pieces. So it is so enjoyable, man. It's
So-
been such a pleasure.
So a malfunction here would be like somebody loses, and that's on them, right?
Yes, that's on
So-
them. That's on. And it
that's not
happens-
your problem.
It happens to me daily, too.
Yeah,
so,
true. So doing this for a job, I guess, do you still game when you go home?
Oh, yes. 7 days. I'm here 7 nights a week, but I don't work one night.
Right, because you're,
Oh,
you're,
no,
you're
I
just
don't
chilling
work.
with your friends
I'm
and playing
here
games.
all the time playing
I'm here
Magic.
playing. I want to be. I'm one with the guys. We're here together.
Gotcha.
You know, I'm not the guy here just trying to make a dollar. I'm here trying to have fun, enjoy the game with everybody at the same time.
Man, that's excellent, man. So, tell me about your setup here. How many systems? How many consoles? What games do you guys host? Like, from a video game aspect, and we'll jump
Yes.
into the Magic, and I'll let Zuby lead that in a second. But from video games, like, tell me about your setup. What all do you guys do here?
Well, what got me started was actually Injustice. Was one of the first games that got me into it. So that's a major feature game we have going on. Tonight we'll have Injustice 2 going on. Mortal Kombat, of course. We have going Dragon Ball's a new game, which
That game looks
everyone's
a lot
going
of fun.
crazy. It is awesome. It's a lot of fun.
I've been really tempted to play
Yep.
it.
So that is a lot of the main. We have all the fighters. So BlazBlue, Guilty Gear, Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5. We have all those on the system.
Smash.
Of course, we have Smash. And the new upcoming Smash will be coming. If you see, we have the bigger monitors back here. They're all BenQ Zowie. All competitive 1MS, no lag monitors. So you are playing with legit
This is
esports
legit.
stuff.
This isn't
Yes.
just slapped together, man.
Yes,
This
and
isn't.
It's like I said, all dreams. I took everything that we had and put it in here and made it
So,
happen.
you said the new Smash is getting ready to come out. Matt immediately eagle-eyed
Yep,
your
the
Switch
Switch.
dock over
Yeah,
there.
I don't-
So,
yes.
Is that relatively recent with the Switches? Because I thought I haven't seen them before.
It hasn't even came out yet. So they just announced they're going to be doing
No.
it.
I mean the Switch consoles. Because
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's been out for, I think, like 6 months to a year ago now.
but I think he means here.
Oh,
no,
here?
no.
Oh, yeah, it's been there. It's been up there. Yeah. It's
Okay,
just,
I guess maybe I'm
Waiting.
blind.
There's really not
Yeah.
much kind of yet, right?
Like
I mean,
Mario
the thing.
Kart,
That's what
and
people do.
Splatoon.
Mario.
Yep,
Oh,
that's exactly it.
So any plans for a Mario Kart tournament?
We do actually have them pop off here and there, but it hasn't been the biggest event. So it's
Gotcha.
been happening on the Wii U because we have That and a lot of guys like to use those controllers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've been using that route. So we do have Wii U for that. Mario Kart 8 for that and for the Switch.
Gotcha. Matt, you know I'm a pretty big Mario Kart guy, but I've really never done an actual tournament with you aside from being online. So you're going to have to let me know,
Yes.
and I'll see if I can wrangle anybody or anybody wants to challenge me, because I talk shit all the time on the podcast about Mario Kart skills, so see if somebody can come and shut me up. So that might be fun, man. Cool.
Probably. Probably.
So going into it, so it's not just video games, it's also Magic. Matt, you want to take the lead on this?
And not just Magic, but a lot of other card games.
I'm sorry, yes.
So,
Magic, where it all stemmed from.
yeah.
You know, that's
so,
where it all came from.
I mean, I guess from talking more about Magic, I know a lot because I've talked to other game shop owners before, and I know like Magic can be a very difficult business to even stay alive. I mean, it is good that you're not doing just Magic, because I know the profit margins on those are very low, especially because Wizards distributors, you know, they're pretty crappy.
Most of the time, we're making pennies, not dollars.
Yeah,
that's definitely
on
how this
sealed
industry
product,
works.
and I know where the money's at is singles and all that and other accessories. So, no, it's good to see that. I guess what have been some of the challenges you faced? Because you guys are still pretty new. You've been officially open, since January?
Yes.
I want to say.
Yep.
Because you did have that soft
January
opening
12th.
in December. And then you've been open for about 4 months almost. So what have been some of the challenges you faced so far?
Keeping product on the shelf. That is probably
Really?
Yes, because as soon as anything gets on the shelf, it gets taken on right away. So it's just a good thing. It's
Good
an
problem.
amazing
That's
thing.
a good thing.
It's a good problem,
Yeah.
but it's a bad thing when my other customers walk in late and like, oh man, one last second, oh there's nothing here. Oh man, the guy just walked out the
what
door.
product
with
is
that
selling
lily.
a lot though?
Magic, of course, has been amazing. DBS has now been the new thing, but both of them are just selling like a lot of singles. A lot of singles go out the door.
Is there a distributor issue with that? Like, is there a lack of distribution for this?
I also know there's levels of
Yes.
what you can actually buy from too.
And the
like
way
how
that
much.
goes, people will pre-order. Big dog stores will go out there and they'll buy and get allocation.
Like
much
pallets
yes,
of
to where
product.
I can only afford a tiny little bit. These guys can afford to fill my whole shop up with it.
Gotcha.
So I'm
It's-
back
it's,
ordered.
it's very cutthroat.
Oh,
with,
man.
If
sealed
it
product.
wasn't for the community that I have here, we would not be able to do it. It's all the community because it
Wow.
comes together. They're willing to pay a couple dollars extra than what these other guys are selling them out for nothing. They're really willing to lose money to shut everyone else out of business. Some guys are out there. I'm not going to say names, but there are in our local area. They're going for the reason just to make sure they're the only guy buy boxes.
I know exactly what you're talking
I
about.
won't say because I wish them the best.
We've talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah,
before.
we try not to name names.
I can't because I physically can't do that. We can't.
No.
So people are willing to still purchase from me for loyalty and being here to try to support the shop and understand situations like that. So that has
that's
been the
where it
climb
gets
of
tough.
it.
That's where it gets tough because I know E&D. You remember
hard to compete,
down in Port Richey. Even they had that same issue. Like they would sell like the same prices as you and all that, and then even then they still couldn't beat online.
So-
I know how tough it can be.
To get a little nerdier on this topic of distribution and being, what your allocations are, which seems to be the problem, is it treated as like the Tampa area, the Central Florida area, the Florida area? Like how much are you really competing with?
Well, it is the Tampa and Orlando crew. That's basically what the main.
So that's all.
areas
Everybody's
are.
kind of clumped into
Yes,
that. So
they're all
you
right
got
here.
countless numbers of stuff
So
that you're.
many, man. There's
Oh
so
man,
many
so
out there.
you're really up against it. Well,
Yes.
I do know. I grew up here in this area, in Spring Hill, until I went to high school, and I know that even from Matt and people that I still know down here, there are a lot of gamers up here, and driving down into Tampa and things like that is really not practical, especially if you're just trying to pop in and have some fun at night, in an evening or something like that. So, I think it's smart, man. I just hope you can overcome some of those challenges with your distributors.
Man,
you want to point me at them. You know what I'm saying?
I love my reps, but the way stuff gets handled sometimes, it definitely is.
tough.
I've heard a lot of stories
It
about
definitely
it.
goes crazy. Missing boxes, missing shipments. I have some customers. One customer this week was waiting for a box and of now we were supposed to ship in last week and they lost the box. The box is just lost. They still don't know where it is. I'm waiting to get
about
paid.
that.
Yeah, it's just a lost box. And of course, the customer's color of the box they want is out of stock now. So I have to go back to my customer and tell him I'm so sorry. I don't have this color in stock anymore.
Yeah,
So
that weighs heavy on you.
I don't
man.
want
Magic
you to wear
players
too
are
much.
really picky
Particular
about that stuff. Oh,
so
trust me.
I
I
did the
know.
best thing I can do. I don't know if he's in the house right now. I don't see him. No, he might be here, but I ended up just giving him one of my old boxes and say, take this for now. Hold you off. When
Right.
we get it in, well, then you can buy when you want to buy. He's just going to buy something he didn't want to buy.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to do that here. We are about the community. That's literally my goal, my dream, is to try to do better in this community. So
Yeah, the one thing that I've noticed, because I've been here for a long time, I've seen the game stores come and go, and I'm still surprised that one comic shop used to be Frankie's.
Yeah.
Over on Mariner Boulevard near Spring Hill Drive. Can't believe that place is still open. Because I mean, it's just
God bless
it's
them.
been forever. They've been
Yeah,
here
they've
forever.
been
That's
forever.
where I actually bought my first set of Magic cards.
Yep.
Back in Urza Saga and all that. But anyways, it's one of the things that I found particularly, I guess, refreshing from your side as far as your store goes is you're actually out there advertising. My kid came home with a flyer for something, and I saw, sponsored by NeverBoard Gaming. It was some Hernando County Fair thing or whatever, and I'm like, holy crap, you guys just opened, and it's like you're not used to seeing that kind of stuff. And
oh man, yeah, we know we have to get out there. We actually that was we did 14,000 copies go out all the Hernando County schools. We sponsored the Greek festival at the Hernando County Fair.
that's what it was.
Ah, okay. Nice.
I'm Greek, so of course I'm the Sunday school teacher at our Greek church, so I'm very involved over there as much as possible. So
Excellent.
it goes hand in hand. So.
Man, dude, this guy, I like him more and more the more we talk to him. This is awesome. So, changing topics slightly a little bit here. So you said you're going to have something streaming later on? behind me?
Yes, we're going to be streaming our Magic events, and then we have our finals that we have for Injustice or Mortal Kombat. We have our feature matches. We have that on stream as well.
Stream that as well.
Yeah. So we have a
Excellent.
Twitch channel and a YouTube channel, so
All
we
right.
push both.
So what are we looking for on Twitch and YouTube? Just NeverBoard?
NeverBoard Gaming.
NeverBoard Gaming.
Yeah.
Got to have the
Yeah.
gaming.
I'm actually
I know
in
about
one of
that.
the YouTube videos.
Yes,
for Magic.
yes.
Yeah, I saw that posted on y'all's Facebook. Yeah, I saw that. That's awesome, man. So let's talk a little bit too. So you mentioned how Magic players are very, kind of conscious or specific about their colors and things like
Yes.
that,
Oh,
their
yeah.
persona, if you will.
100%.
Which,
Especially the
Makes sense.
foils.
I am myself.
yeah.
Their foils and what
Yep.
basic lands are you going to use?
I want what I want, and that's it.
So do you find that with the gaming, the video game side as well? Like, are a lot of people bringing their own
yeah.
controllers just because they need to
100%.
have
Yeah,
theirs?
when they come, that's part of actually part of the deal for tournaments. You bring your own controller. Of course, I have controllers on set. Somebody's a borrow controller, but I have yet not, unless it's a total newbie. It's the first time coming.
Right.
I've never let borrow controller because everyone has either they have fight sticks. Or
Right,
have,
right.
So this is what they use now instead of.
So do you get pretty serious into making sure they're using the proper fight sticks and things like that, or are you just kind of open to whatever
Yes,
controllers they
I
want to
mean,
bring? Because I know that's a hot topic with some people in fighting
we let them bring
games.
their controllers, whatever they want to bring in house right now.
Is
Unless
there-
it's
is
a
there, like,
really
any-
big event.
Is there any league rules or anything
Mm.
for those kind of games? Because I'm not familiar at all with fighting.
Everything that we
games.
do on challenge.com.
Okay.
So the guys can go back on there. They can keep up to date and see what the scores are. Just go to NeverBoard Gaming as well. And
Oh,
see,
nice.
hey,
So there's like
so
stats and
there's
stuff
stats.
going on.
You keep where you're
man,
at. There's
interesting.
points. Keep your
Okay.
rank. So everything actually
Is
goes
that what
on.
that big iPad Pro is?
Yeah, that's why I walk
Okay.
around my iPad. That's what I do. I keep track of all the events.
Okay, that's what
Yep.
that is.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, we're kind of noobs to the actual tournament style of the fighting games. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So,
Yep.
so
Challenge
forgive
is
me.
We're
our
aware
side,
it
man.
happens. We just don't know all the
Exactly,
logistics of it.
exactly. You know, I mean, I grew up playing Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat like this
it's
guy.
like me.
You
That's
know what
what's
I
up.
mean? But
Yeah.
outside of that, and some Smash Brothers here and there.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've never been too serious about it. So, okay, so it does sound like you've got a lot of experienced people showing up through your doors to do these tournaments, and obviously you need some swagger to come through and compete, right? But should newbies be scared to come through your store?
Oh, no. Everyone that comes in here, all of our veterans, the guys I've came to learn from myself, they take it easy on you. When it's a 2 out of 3 round, they don't 2-0 you. They'll give you a round. They'll let you win one.
Okay,
They'll let
okay.
you learn.
Fair
They
enough.
have you go by. They'll teach you the buttons. I mean, we don't believe in getting anyone beat up in here. We see
Alright,
that.
so
we'll
you
reprimand
guys
that
do
we
tech-
see there.
You do Tekken here?
Oh, we do Tekken.
All
Yes,
right,
we
so
do.
as long as I can be Eddie Gordo from Tekken
Hey, you're
and
good.
just mash buttons.
That actually brings up a really
easy.
good point, something I don't understand that I'm hoping to figure out tonight by watching some playing. How does the character select work? Are there outlawed characters? Can you not be the same character as another person? Is it different per game? How's that work?
Well, like for fighting games, for example, so when you go to pick your characters, whoever wins that match has to stay their character.
Okay.
So the other person gets to switch. that other person does not have the choice to switch.
If you're doing well, you're fine. You don't need to change it up.
Yeah, you stay there. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
So there's counter picks you pick for people.
Is
So
that
if
like
someone's a
official rules
zoner
all
and this
that?
guy's close, no, that isn't. Yeah, for when you go to any rules, you go to any of the big events. That's the way they imply them.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you win, you keep your player, and the loser gets to pick who they get to fight with next. So if they're like, oh, this guy's playing a zoner, I need to, either zone back or find a guy I can get in better with, they'll switch it up for the next round.
So you could both have the same character. It wouldn't matter.
100%.
Okay.
100%. Just the one who wins has to stay.
I gotcha. And then as far as outlawed characters, do any games have characters that are generally considered unbalanced? Because I know in Super Smash there's some arguments on that,
Yeah.
especially in like Melee and stuff like
Yes,
that, like
yes,
no Ness
yes,
and things
yes,
like
yes,
that
yes.
is a thing.
Yes, we have actually have a good in-house guy here. Well, Luxie is amazing too, and then my GM Sako. I'd love for you guys to talk to him. He's
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to talk to
He's
him.
really,
Yeah.
really, really good. One of my best friends, right-hand man's, and he's really, really good at Smash.
Okay.
So he's the veteran on that. I'm a super noob when it comes to Smash. I won't even
Gotcha.
claim.
I just
I
smash
go
the
there.
buttons when I
Exactly.
play.
I literally just smash the buttons. That's what I do when I play.
Stop
Smash.
hurting me.
Yeah. I will handle someone in some injustice. I will call them out.
I can
will
barely
fight, but
beat
when it
my
comes to
8-year-old
Smash, I won't even try.
Smash.
That's me.
Yeah,
That's me.
yeah. Oh, man, they get good too soon too.
Oh, man.
So one thing that we're looking to do, not just get out to local shops like yours and maybe even frequent some of them, but we're talking about going into different cons this year. Like we're trying to get into MegaCon and all that. Do you foresee yourself setting up shop in any of these?
That would be so cool. I definitely want to try to get as many events as possible. So
Okay.
I would love to talk with you guys, and maybe we can coordinate something. And
Oh yeah, we
together.
we
I'd
will
like to know.
absolutely.
Yeah,
work
we've
something out,
actually
my
got a
friend.
list of cons that are in the area that we're going to try to go. We can't make all of them. but
yeah, no.
Yeah,
we'll try to
we
get
actually
them.
put a list together. I'll forward it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
absolutely.
Yes, get the word out to let them know we're here.
Heck yeah, man. So, I guess we've kind of taken 20 minutes up of your tournament time.
I'm
So,
here,
but
man.
we do appreciate it, man. Matt, do you have anything else you want to ask Bob before we move on?
No, I'm going to bring you on Magic with Zuby, talk more Magic stuff.
Yes.
That's
Nice.
That's gonna come.
nice.
You guys are amazing. Both of you guys, thank you
All
so
right,
much for
thank
coming
you.
to the
Dude,
shop, man.
thank you for having
Total
us,
pleasure.
man. We
These guys
appreciate it.
rock, man.
All right. Oh, real quick, anything you
Yeah.
want to plug? Social media, anything like that? Go.
Gonna do it. All right, so check us out on YouTube. We have NeverBoard Gaming. Of course, we're at Twitter.
Twitter is what at board_never.
Thank you
I
so
got
much.
you. I
You
got
got
you.
me there. I'm everywhere.
Facebook?
Facebook, Instagram, at
Just all
NeverBoard Gaming.
NeverBoard
Yeah, all
Gaming.
NeverBoard
Oh,
Gaming. Please like, share.
So and you keep all of your events and your tournaments on the events page on your
Yeah,
Facebook. Is that the primary place you want people to go?
Facebook, and then we also have a website you can check us to. NeverBoardGaming.com.
Okay.
And you guys go there. Anything else? Give us a
Do
call.
you sell online at all?
Yes, we do sell online. We are actually branching off into that now. So we do have a
nice.
market online store for shirts, some swag anyone wants to look at buying.
Nice.
Okay, cool.
On the store.
Nice.
But me and my boy Sako are here 7 days a week. So just give us a call and I will
Heck
be
yeah,
here for
man. Heck
That's
yeah.
dedication.
you. We're not here, something's wrong.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks for talking to us, man. I
Thank you
appreciate
guys,
it.
man.
All right. All right, so we just sat down with the general manager. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That's right.
Your name's Sako, correct?
Sako or Joe, yeah.
Or
The last
Joe.
name's Sokolowski, so it's a little nickname I've picked up over
I
the years.
completely relate.
Just like my last name's Zubritsky, so Zuby.
Zuby,
I
yeah.
picked
How
it
many
up.
Polacks does it take to do a Magic podcast? I mean, a video game podcast?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, half Russian.
This
okay,
guy,
my bad.
he's a commie, but we'll talk about
Yeah.
that later. So tell me something. Tell me about your role here, man. Tell me what you what your day-to-day look like. I know Bobby was saying that you're here 7 days a week, just like him.
Oh, yeah, we're working like crazy. It's a passion project for both of us. We just love the culture that's within these games and the people that it all brings together. Pretty much every day here at NeverBoard, I'm coming, usually working on sorting cards, finding cards for people, pulling cards for people. I'm more onto the Magic the Gathering side than any of the other stuff, but I do
Says
love
the guy
these-
wearing a Nintendo 64 shirt, though.
That's true,
I
that's
gotta
true,
say,
yeah.
I was eyeballing that from the second I walked in, dude. That's
I
what's
love
up.
it. This is my go-to outfit here. It's crackling, though, the graphics. That's how old it is. But
Vintage,
I'm
man.
an avid Smash Bros. Player. I really
okay.
love that game a whole
Oh yeah, that's
lot.
yeah. Bobby was saying that.
Yeah,
that you're like pretty good at
I'm a
it.
Toon Link main. I do, but I like to play all the characters.
What's your favorite Smash? Which one?
Oh man, that's so hard to choose.
64.
I think I'd probably have to agree with you there, because that's
Really?
like, that's what my little kid version would want me to say, you know, like.
Well, that was the first one for me, and I love that one. I mean, I like GameCube and the Wii and the Wii U one, but 64, dude, my friends and I played the shit out of that one.
Yeah, they're all amazing. I think Brawl's by far the worst, so that.
I would completely agree with you. Thank you for saying that.
But-
Thank
Well,
you.
actually, for someone who's not that well versed in Smash, why is that?
Because you can trip for no reason whatsoever.
Yep.
And the game just got slowed
really?
down and is clunky.
It's clunky. There's some
Really?
balance issues as well that are pretty bad.
And as Mewtwo King showed way back in the day, you could literally just camp with Meta Knight for the entire game, and your opponent can't do anything about it.
Do they?
Really?
Do they actually? Is there banned characters because of that?
I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up with the competitive scene in Brawl because I don't think there even is one really anymore.
You always hear like Melee or
Yeah, it's always Melee for
yeah.
the most part.
And people were happy to move on to the Wii U version once, afterwards with Brawl.
How do you feel about the Wii U version versus like say Melee?
I like it. It's definitely more of a casual game. It's easier to access for people. There's not a giant skill gap with lots of button glitches like there is in Melee. And it's not as fast paced. You don't have to put as many inputs in either.
Yeah.
But the Wii U one's good because it has a nice balance. And I say that until the DLC characters kind of came in and messed things up because Bayo and Cloud kind of shook up the meta and the tier lists.
Oh, that's
and
right. I
everything.
forgot
Cloud.
was
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not too
Solid
worried about
Snake.
either of them, but Bayonetta is kind of annoying to fight. You have to really practice your Smash DI in order to even do anything against her. But
Smash DI. There's so I decided at one point I was going to watch a bunch of YouTube videos, right, and learn how to actually maybe try to play Smash competitively because
because there was a tournament.
there was a tournament that I was going to I was going to
gonna
enter
do.
it, right, and because I'd never done it, and in my research I found out there's all these like inside terms in these moves that aren't maybe necessarily moves the way they intended the game to be played. Like there's like cancels and stuff like that.
Perfect pivots and
Yeah.
all kinds of weird things. Yeah.
That's crazy to me, man. Like, and instantly I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go lose because it was just I had a lot more to learn. So
I just love button glitches in games though. Like they go back way far. Like I remember playing Halo 2 back in the day. There was like things like BXR and all types of little like unintended benefits you can get from the game, and that increases the skill gap because the better players can utilize the stuff more fluidly.
right, yeah, exploits, man. That's interesting. So. Speaking of the Wii U version of Super Smash, have you played the 3DS version of Smash?
Only from like pulling it out of like a little kid's hands and like let me see this for a second.
Cold-blooded, dude.
They were offered it, all right.
Cold-blooded.
But yeah, it seemed all right. I really couldn't never get used to that funny little stick on it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure with time it'd be
That
fine.
is weird, right? It's like like those IBM laptop like mice sticks. You know what I mean?
The mouse nipple.
The mouse
Oh,
nipple,
that
yeah.
little- what is that made of? I wonder. It has like the
Actual
texture of
nipple.
a dog's nose.
Yeah, a dog nose or yeah.
Or an actual
Yeah,
dog
something
nipple.
something gnarly.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So how did you meet Bobby?
I met Bobby at one of the old comic shop that was here. In
Oh,
Spring
at
Hill.
Throwdown Gaming?
Yeah, at Throwdown Gaming.
Yeah.
And then I started working with him in his transmissions business, and we just became good friends, and we opened this together.
So what
That's
happened? You
awesome.
guys said screw getting covered in transmission fluid all day.
Yeah, pretty much.
We like gaming. Let's make it a living,
Yeah,
huh?
let's
So
have
is
fun.
this a venture that you both went in together?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just the two of us from the get-go.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow, that's excellent, man. So, sort of a hard question, but not really, because we're not really that great of investigative journalists. But what do you guys see for the future for here? How are you going to combat and handle anybody else that may move into your space? What do you guys see going forward? What's without giving too much of your secrets and your plans away?
Well-
What's in the near future for you guys?
Well, I think the best thing you can do in any kind of capitalist venture is just try to, take care of your customers, appeal to them, make them happy, have the stuff that they want in your shop. And in the end of the day, if you can't do any of those things better than your competitor, they're going to go to your competitor, probably.
Gotcha.
So we're
Yep.
just going to do our best to have as much product as possible, have really cool prize support for all of our tournaments, and just have a kind and awesome atmosphere that we've already established. It's like a community of friends that all know each other.
Yeah.
And, people trying to poach on that, they can try, but it's gonna hurt them as much as it would hurt us. So it doesn't really bug me too much.
That's man. From what I've seen so far, I really like what's going on here.
Yeah, and you've been here for like an hour.
I really like it though because I've been to every game store and all that in the area,
up and down the West Coast,
even the East Coast, Florida. Yeah. I mean, I've ventured to all of these because, mostly I'm hunting for games, but I take note, and I will say that the BenQ monitors, nobody has that shit. Yeah. Nobody. They don't do that. You guys have put in a nice attention to detail. Seems like everybody's really friendly. When you walked in, Matt, everybody's like, hey, man, what's up? This and that. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, Zuby's like a celebrity at our place.
He kind of is,
Which
yeah.
is weird. It's I don't feel that way at all.
Everyone loves
well, no, when that YouTube video of my match and you and Alex are talking, I'm all I'm pretty much nobody.
Hey, well, two nobodies calling out a third nobody. So.
Tough question. How bad is Zuby at Magic?
I don't know. We haven't actually gone up against each other yet.
No,
I don't think,
we have.
We? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think you beat me, didn't you?
Maybe.
I can't remember. Either way, it was once on a Friday Night Magic, probably.
Yeah.
Battle. That's
Either way, I know he has skills. He's got knowledge too, so I listen to the podcast.
I'm not so sure about that. We'll see.
I'm really good at faking.
Yeah, all right. Fake it till you make it through.
Here's what happens is I crap talk him until he proves me wrong, which is more often than not when we play things together. So
the driving range was a good one.
Yeah, man. Who knew he's good at that? We're
not talking Mario Golf here. This is a real deal.
No,
real golf.
Oh, okay.
We ended up at a driving range for some event for work, and Matt discovered my disgusting slice. I literally turned my whole body and still managed to slice, and then he goes up there and he's like, bam, 250 yards, and I'm like, well, what the hell? Apparently he grew up golfing, so who knew?
I haven't done that in 10 years. So.
Could have fooled me, man. Could have fooled me. Showed me right up. So, who is it that runs your guys' social media? Is it a joint venture? Is it just you? Who did I first talk to? By the way,
Facebook?
Yeah.
Actually, Bobby's wife helps us a lot. She's the one who runs a lot of the online stuff. So if there's a real compassionate, feminine touch coming from our messages, you know why now. She takes good care of everybody and does her best, and she's in instant line of communication with all of us. So we like to just I feel like if you just spread everything too wide, if you have too many people trying to run it, it doesn't have any cohesion, and there's no format that's copied all the time, and people feel thrown off by it.
You just described every job I've ever had. The corporate is what he just So let's avoid that and keep it homey feeling here, man. Well, Matt, you got anything?
I asked you where you met Bobby, and we already talked about the future and all that.
Definitely.
So, yeah. What about yourself? Where do you see yourself going?
Well, other than doing
besides
the
this.
whole
I mean, he's
NeverBoard
already running a business. I mean,
I'm
that's
a musician
pretty.
as well, though. My album just came out on Valentine's Day of this year.
What kind of music?
It's called acid rock.
Acid rock, okay.
So do I need to take acid before?
I don't think you need to, but it might help. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I've always wanted to try it.
Yeah,
you and I have talked about that before. I've always wanted to try acid.
Well, maybe the music will help you dip your feet in. Either way, it's called Free Life Garden Club, and the album is Farming Mars. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, pretty much any type of online retailer that you could ever want, or you can sneakily find it for free on YouTube if you're, broke.
What are all the kids use now? Is that SoundCloud?
Oh yeah, we don't mess with that one.
Nice.
No,
I respect that.
Spotify is the really.
Oh yeah, we're on that one too.
So what do you play? What instruments?
I play guitar. I can do a little bit of piano, trumpet, and flute. But my favorite thing is to sing and compose music, just writing it, just chasing the sounds in my head and trying to make them real with other people.
Like August Rush.
You're seeing the whole picture. You're creating something as a whole, as opposed to a part of something. Is where you see yourself.
Yeah, that's
really
awesome,
the role
man.
in
If you ever need a vocalist, let me know. I can sing.
Let's do it. Heck yeah.
As long as the song is something like old school 50s, 60s Dean Martin style.
Okay. So you're like a crooner, a lounge singer.
Yeah, I'm a lounge singer. Anything else I can't do.
Also, you revealed on the last episode that you used to freestyle rap. So if you want any seriously over the top white boy rap.
Kasky's a
Hit 'em
singer
up.
too. I think we need to do like a Neverboard doo-wop quartet or something.
doo-wop.
Well, how about if it's all three
I
of
gotta
us,
see
we
that.
do some bluegrass? That
my
would
God.
Be, like, fuck, what's that George Clooney movie with
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh Brother,
Yes,
Where Out There? Yeah,
yes,
we need to do
yes.
something like that.
Constant Sorrow.
You
Yeah.
gotta get the can of hair grease though.
Yeah.
You know. You-
We'll do.
Get-
I'll write
get
up a
the,
Neverboard theme song.
All right,
There you go.
and do some
So
bluegrass.
as a musician, it makes sense now. I see you eyeballing my garbagey garage band here.
Oh, yeah.
What's your poison? What do you like to use to digital?
I use Reaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just use like a little digital. What is it called? It's like a red input thing. I can't remember the name of
the
it. now.
interface.
Yeah, the interface.
yeah,
Scarlet.
Scarlet.
That's the one,
Scarlet,
Yeah.
'cause that's
I
the
love
popular
that.
one.
Just have other mics.
Is
Like
it-
I use Shure mics and
Yeah.
MXL.
Yeah, we have the internet mic right now. We don't
these
have
are
the
good.
the XLR good stuff. One day we will.
Mine would be picking
Yeah.
up the footsteps of people in the front room, so it's really not good for this kind of scenario.
Yeah, you have to. That's a problem as well. Well, cool, man. Thank you so much for having us. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, I
we're
love
gonna
it.
we're gonna stick around and we're gonna check everything out, man. We might ask you some more questions a little bit later on or something while we're floating around.
Super cool.
Cool. All right.
All right, awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks
Appreciate it,
for doing
man.
this stuff here, guys. Love it.
Anything you want to plug? Social media? Anything specific?
I already think I said the band,
Got
right?
your
Free
band?
Life
Yeah.
Garden Club, but yeah, definitely check us out. Neverboard. Facebook's the main conduit of information flow, but you can go to like Instagram, Snapchat, all that fun stuff.
Excellent.
Oh, and get on the YouTube channel. We're working hard on recording some things for it, and hopefully we'll get some video game matches up there. We're gonna have a tournament tonight here, so we'll get the grand finals uploaded.
All right, cool.
All right. Check it out. All right. So we just sat down with Luxy. Luxy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Tell us. You don't have to be super close.
Oh,
It's
you're
fine.
right. Okay.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, and then from there, if you want to take it into what's going on tonight.
Well, I am a high schooler. I'm a junior this year at Nature Coast Technical High School. I'm affiliated with their gaming club, which is actually really important. I'll talk about that later.
Sure.
But I'm also a graphic designer. I want to go into commercial arts, and I play games.
Nice. Okay, cool, man. So what? So you said tonight you're playing for your school. You guys have like an esports team?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, it actually just got like introduced around this year. This is actually the first semester that they're doing, the first season that they're doing Smash Brothers.
So jealous. I wish we had that one in school.
You don't know the struggle, man.
You don't. I'm just kidding. So this is really cool. It's a high school esports league. They give people scholarship money for people that are good enough at the game.
Hold on.
that's
Hold
awesome.
on. Hold on. Pause the
Whoa,
podcast.
whoa,
Pause
whoa,
it. Pause
whoa.
it. So it's not enough that they have an actual official gaming team for the school, but there's money for
Scholarship.
school.
As
Dude.
long as they're participating, yeah.
Dude, so we were talking about this
Whoa,
earlier. When we
mind
were
blown.
going to school,
Mind blown.
like you were made fun of if you played video games, and it's weird to talk about now because like you probably have a lot of friends that play games at school.
Everybody
It's
plays
and
games. Everybody
it's
plays.
probably
Everybody
very
ever.
normal
Yeah.
to play video games. Back when we were growing up, like back in my day, it's you were literally like if you brought a Game Boy to school, you'd be made fun of.
You
You'd
would be made fun of
chastised.
by somebody who
Oh.
played games because they didn't
Yeah.
want to be
Yeah.
outed for playing games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
see-
it was twisted.
And see, now the difference is there's people that play video games and there's people that play video games competitively. There's a very stark difference between the two.
There is.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, there is.
One of them is you treat it like it's your job, and the other one is strictly recreational.
Yeah,
Where do you fall?
I'm kind of in the transitional period where I'm trying to build a community around myself and try to really just have people.
And that's really tough to do.
It is.
Oh, well, we're going through that as well. It's
Yeah.
it's not easy to get people
So,
on board.
Step one to do to get yourself noticed out in the internets is become famous actor.
That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do, man.
Hey, that's the easy route.
What are you
Get your
doing
own
here? What are you talking to us for?
Get your own TV show and then go be a esports celebrity.
all you gotta do.
That's actually an option, and I really hate that that's an option. That was like obviously a joke, but that's really an option.
I know it is. It's sad, but
So what's going on tonight? Who's this tournament through? Are there other people from your school? Like, how is this going on?
Well, this
Explain it to me.
isn't actually being held here specifically. You can do this anywhere. This is completely online. It's nationwide plus Canada.
Okay.
You just you establish a time that you play each other, and you just hop online. You play your set. You report the score.
Okay.
It's really easy.
So you. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. And are you playing on Wii U hardware? I see you have a bunch of stuff going on over here. What are you actually playing on?
I am playing on a Wii U. The extra stuff is just so I can record my match.
Oh, so that's a capture device there?
That is a capture device, my laptop, mouse, controller.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like super like tech gear nerd extraordinaire. What capture device is that?
Hauppauge HDP VR2.
VR2, and is that like 1080 60? What does that do?
It is a PVR2, and it's 1080 60. Yes.
1080 60. Okay, that's
nice.
pretty cool, man.
I believe the last time I checked its specs was like 2 years ago. So.
So
Those aren't cheap.
no.
It was like $200.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, it's not cheap for me. I don't have an income.
Come on, man.
I mean, yeah, I know.
Dude,
Sorry.
that's really impressive, man. So I have some younger family members and things like that, and it's so refreshing, like, because none of them are into anything like this or super tech savvy. Yeah. They can run an iPhone or something like that, or they play video games. I'm using air quotes there, but like to the level you're doing everything, kind of reminds me of like Matt or I when we were young. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's refreshing to see somebody that is still kind of into
But
that
we
kind of
didn't-
thing.
we didn't
Holy
have
shit, I
competitive-
sound old.
But we didn't make competitive gaming like this.
That didn't really exist. Not locally. Not anything that we could do directly. No.
Yeah. So speaking of locally, online is actually one of the worst environments you could ever run a tournament on. There's a lot of weird things that go on online. You have differing.
And depending on the architecture
Latency.
of it too, you have latency.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Latency's a
exactly.
big
That's the
problem.
word I was looking for.
And especially like how they connect, like if it's peer to peer, if their
Exactly.
connection's favored over yours.
Exactly.
But it's usually better with kind of online gaming when you're both connecting to a single server
It's the
instead
most
of peer to peer.
It's the most convenient option for people who can't go out and play in actual tournaments in actual locals. That they don't have like the money to enter. All they need to do is pay for internet, pay for a console, and that's a one-time investment. Well, not a one-time investment. You're paying for internet, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No. Well, you can't even consider internet like an investment or a cost anymore to do something.
Yeah.
Well, you can't because it's necessary, right?
It
like
is.
you have to. Like
So
in this day and
necessary
age,
for life now.
internet has taken over your need for a phone. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird how it's transitioned. So, yes, it is a cost, and it is a recurring cost, but I like to think that whether you were playing games or not, you were going to have internet. You know what I mean? So, cool. So, what's going on with the tournament tonight? Will you know about, like, your results tonight? Or is it
yes.
you have to wait for everybody to kind of report in?
I am reporting my scores for my match tonight in that tournament. But as for where we are right now, the tournament here is for, of course, Magic and Dragon Ball FighterZ and Injustice 2. It's not for Smash 4.
Right. I'm more wondering about what you're specifically doing.
Oh, yeah. Then
Okay. So you're playing Smash tonight.
Yes.
And you're doing the Wii U Smash. Who's your main character?
Oh my goodness. My main, this is a problem. So my main, since the game came out, was Robin. He's like kind of the lower end of mid-tier, I would say. He's really slow. He's based a lot around spacing out your opponent, really playing a lot of projectile, a lot of trapping, a lot of controlling space with your giant, big, swingy sword.
Right, yep.
But his gimmick is that he actually runs out of his materials as you use them. His Levin sword, for example, he only has 8 uses and you have to wait like 3 or 4 seconds for it to come back.
Oh, so it does regenerate, but
Yes.
it's still limited. Okay, wow, it seems like you're making life a little bit harder for yourself there.
No, because when people say no, you're not, because you can drop it, and then when you pick it up, you can throw it at people. There's a lot of shield damage you can kill. I still would prefer if I didn't lose my stuff, but he gets a lot of reward for using his materials, and like the best example of this is Nosferatu. It's his down B, is a down special. It's a command grab. It has a lot of vertical reach. You can do it in the air, on the ground. You gain life off of it, but you can only use it 4 times. Once you use it 4 times, you have to wait a full 60 seconds.
That's an eternity in Smash.
It might be 40 seconds. My point is, it's a long time.
And the tournament match time is how long?
You get 6 minutes per
6
game.
minutes. So I mean, that's a huge chunk.
Shit.
Yeah.
So like total in a best of 3 set, you would have only. You usually would not go through Nosferatu, and if you do, you will not see it again.
So I see you have a GameCube control over there. Yes. Mad respects for that. I know most people that play Smash, that's what they prefer. Have you been affected by the shortage of those controllers?
No, actually. I have been using that controller since 2001. Well, technically using it would not be. me and with like a little baby child playing with it. I've owned it since 2001.
Wow,
we had
the
original,
same one. No problems with it, and you're not wearing it out.
Well, I mean, I didn't use it for most of my life. Obviously, I didn't consciously play the game with a GameCube controller. I played through Brawl with a Wiimote sideways.
Oh, wow.
That was a dark time.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
I wasn't into competitive Brawl, thank God.
Yeah, and as most aren't anymore. So are you familiar, and I'm not the most versed in this, so I apologize if it comes out wrong, but are you familiar with, there's a certain percentage of the corded GameCube remotes that have an exploit that you can take advantage of in the actual, I believe it's one of the control sticks. Have you heard about that? It's like 30% of them, and it's hard to find one that can do it. Do you know anything about that?
I haven't heard any sort of exploit, but I know about this error with how the GameCube controller is designed. Basically, what it is, there's a weird dead zone. Actually, no. This doesn't affect Smash 4, but it affects Melee. Basically, there are certain controllers that, whenever you backdash in Melee, there's a chance that it just won't happen. And that's very important in Melee. It's a very fast game. You're doing a lot of inputs a lot. And
yeah, like frames matter. Like what frame you're doing things in.
Sometimes the difference between moving a little bit left on one frame and moving a little bit right on the other frame matters a lot.
Absolutely. So if it doesn't happen, and that's a problem with the controller?
Yeah.
It can't keep up?
Just sometimes it's sometimes. Every now and then. It's not even like a consistent thing. You will backdash, but your character won't backdash, they will backwalk.
Oh, crap. Yeah, that's bad.
And that does not
It leaves you open for attack, essentially, instead of getting out of the way. Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay.
It's not a problem in Smash 4, but the GameCube controller is a lot more hotly debated in Melee because there are, of course, add-ons and different ways you can mod the controller to build your experience. Like, for example, Armada.
That's pretty deep.
He is this amazing Swedish player. He will not play without his controller. He specifically modded it so he can do things easily the best way.
And that's not illegal or anything?
I might be wrong on Armada, but it's another player. His controller broke and he dropped out of the tournament.
And that's not illegal or anything?
It's not illegal so long as you don't change anything that
like
the
button
buttons do. Yeah.
But that still seems like you're having an advantage, though.
I know, exactly. That's what hotly
I
debated.
feel like it should be the same for everybody. If you want those mods, then make that the standard. You know what I mean?
The thing about that is that it's really hard to regulate those mods in particular because they edit the controller shell themselves instead of maybe putting a macro on the right trigger where you would hit the right trigger, you would do an entire combo. That's not something that people
That is
can
completely
That is completely
outlawed.
illegal.
Yeah, absolutely.
You will never do that.
That's crazy. If you had to stop playing with the GameCube controller, what would be your next choice?
Well, funny story about that. I actually didn't think my first tournament, which I won, by the way. Hey.
Nice.
Congrats.
That's the only reason why I'm sitting here today. If I lost that, I would be like, not worth it. Run, leave.
Wow.
But anyway, if I had to not use a GameCube controller, I didn't think they would have a GameCube adapter, so I didn't bring my controller at first. So I brought a Wiimote and nunchuck. And I'm lucky they were so close to my house because I almost became the next Scat. He plays with Wiimote and nunchuck. He's a Mega Man player.
Whoa, but what about the supposed delay with wireless controllers? Is that a myth?
I believe there was a video that came out. It is completely a myth in a controlled environment.
Okay, so if there's not like too many people in between you and the console or something like that.
The thing about that is that there will never be too many people between you and the console in a competitive environment, unless you're like standing
right, because somebody's probably on
particularly
a cord,
away.
So you'd have to be close to it. So that makes sense.
You're sat in front of the screen. Your console's right there. I don't think there would ever be that much of an interference issue.
That's really cool. I'm learning so much right now. So
me too.
Yeah, like
I didn't
this
realize
is really
how deep
cool.
this was.
It's super deep, apparently.
I just thought like fighting games. I just remember Back Y for Scorpion's little spear thing.
God.
Yeah. Yep.
Get over here.
It's not even the right terminology. It's like back 2 or something like that.
So talking about that, do you play or have you played or did you grow up playing any of the old school or classic or retro, I guess would be the right term, fighting games?
I would say that I grew up playing, being exposed to fighting games. I didn't play them because I didn't understand them.
Sure.
Street Fighter 3 Third Strike was one of the first fighting games I ever saw. I always questioned why why Q always did that stupid thing. It's like
Street Fighter 3. Dang. So have you played like a Street Fighter 2 or an original Mortal Kombat or
I've
anything
played
like
Street
that?
Fighter 2. I did not enjoy any second of it.
No, really?
No, it was really, I did not like it. Mostly because of how unresponsive the SNES controller is for inputs.
Those are fighting words, my friend. Wow. Wow. Okay.
Third Strike is and always will be superior to 2.
What about have you played? It's not really the best example. There's the newest version on the Switch of Street Fighter 2. Have you played that?
Ultra Street Fighter 2?
Yeah.
I say that is equally as bad.
Equally as bad.
Because,
Hater.
it is a little better because the Switch controllers are obviously much more responsive. They're a lot easier to work with. But it's still Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 is littered with balance problems.
It is. That's actually very true. And they actually did. So that version is actually a port. The Switch version is a port of the Sega Saturn version of that game.
The Sega Saturn version?
But they claimed to have rebalanced it.
I don't believe them.
On the Switch,
They put
but
in
a
they
lot
put
of
in
people say
violent
it's
they put in
not, yeah.
Violent Ken. It is not rebalanced.
Yeah, they did.
They replaced if they
That
did
was
rebalance it.
that was to get newer players, the newer age players to
I
take notice.
guess.
Is what that was for.
I
I didn't
guess.
even know who he was.
I don't think anyone bought it. I didn't even know Violent
bought it.
Ken was.
Yeah, you bought it.
All right. I don't think Violent Ken was. I didn't think Violent Ken was introduced into the series before that. I thought he was just a totally new character. But I actually want to talk about my exposure to fighting games more recently.
Please.
So the only reason why I'm so into fighting games, why I go to every tournament I can, try to, if you look at my Twitter, there is hours of footage of various combos and tech for all kinds of games, is because John LoBianco, you probably talked to him earlier. If you didn't, well,
No, we haven't talked.
Haven't.
you
no.
should totally talk to him. He's great influence
Okay.
in the FGC in Spring Hill.
Okay.
Anyway, what happened is he sits me down to play Guilty Gear, and my picture of Guilty Gear was this really intense anime fighter, so many inputs, do it really fast, if you don't do it, you die. And that's not entirely wrong, but it was really exaggerated, obviously.
Right.
I thought it would be super tight. This was like 4 years ago, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I pick it up, and within an hour, I'm doing all this crazy stuff. You just sit me down in front of a game, and I'll start figuring it out. I'll start dissecting it. Find a character I like. Go in training mode. There you go. And John sees this. He's like, "Dang, you're like a game chameleon."
Just
And
go
that's
from
what
one
I've
to
called.
the other
That's what
and
I've called
adapt.
myself ever since. Game chameleon.
So does that pertain specifically to fighting games though?
Yes.
Okay.
You sit me down to play. I streamed Mario Odyssey when it came out for 4 days straight. Oh boy, I'm not good at platformers. The people that
get
beat the
that.
game in a day.
Everybody has their strengths and their preferences. What do you play for leisure games, or do you play any of the
For leisure
mainstream
game-
quote
I
unquote
liked-
mainstream games?
I really liked Shadow of War. I'm still playing that right now.
Okay.
I really like games that just have a lot of customization, a lot of exploring. I played Breath of the Wild. I loved every second of it. Super Mario Odyssey,
okay.
obviously, loved every second of it. It is one of the best games I've ever played.
Gotcha.
But as for leisure, honestly, my leisurely time is spent in training mode, learning combos. Figure out where I can optimize this combo, where I can take people in this starter in this situation.
This
It's
man is
very
serious.
important.
He's training literally. So this is great. Well, listen, man. Thank you very much. I know you're about to start your tournament, so I don't want to keep you any longer. It was really good talking to you, man. I learned a lot. I'll probably bug you. Again
I'm
in a
honestly
little bit.
happy to help. Bug me as much as you want. I'm stuck
We'll
here
do.
for a while.
We'll do. Anything you want to plug? Any social media? Anything like that? Any organizations? Anything?
You can follow me at Luxy_FGC on Twitter. I actually make stream layouts. I mentioned I was a graphic designer. I make stream layouts. I make flyers.
Yeah, his stream layouts are.
It's terrible.
I have great stream layouts.
it's
I make
pretty
them
bad.
very nicely. And they're super cheap. I make flyers, advertisement stuff. I've dabbled in logos. It's not my forte, but I've dabbled in it.
Sounds like me when I was a kid, because I actually got my degree in graphic design,
Hey,
and then
let's
I'm
go.
not doing that anymore at all.
I did our logos. I have
Yeah.
no graphic design training. I can't even draw a straight line. So that's how that works.
You can't get me to open up Photoshop worth
Oh god!
anything at all.
I think the only reason why my prices are so cheap though is because I use a free software. I use this thing called don't use GIMP. It's bad.
Why?
It's really it's unintuitive and it's really only good for when you really just need to.
I only use it for like really basic stuff.
You need to make this like specific edit. Yeah, that is exactly what you want to use it for.
So free software. That's good, guys. So he's not bootlegging anything. So
Yeah, it's like I charge.
We never bootleg on this podcast at all.
I've never. Why would you suggest that
we
even?
never find stuff on the
Who
side
are
of
you
the
talking
road.
to, sir? So, awesome. Well, again, thank you. Check Luxie out. We might actually check you out as well for your screen layouts. And awesome. Thanks for talking to us.
Oh, thank you so much.
So we are sitting here with Donnie and Steve. Would you guys say that you are regulars here to NeverBoard? How would you describe yourselves?
I get here as often as possible.
Yeah.
Work. I'm a new dad.
Oh,
Big into
congratulations,
gaming. Yeah,
man.
thank you. Just trying to find a way to get back into gaming as much as I can. So I try and get here every Friday.
Okay.
Trying to compete.
Cool.
Awesome.
Not a new dad. However, I do like to visit regularly. I try to get here at least twice a week. I want to be in the video game as well as the board and card game scene.
Okay.
So it's like I like the way each of them are going. I just love mixing up whatever I'm doing.
Right.
And finding new ways to enjoy gaming in general.
Gotcha. So you're the only one I see here, not only with a NeverBoard shirt, but with your name on it. So
Yes.
you're pretty legit. I think you're downplaying it a little bit.
No, it's I am very much a fan of the family that runs this shop.
Gotcha.
I love their I guess their attitude for it. Instead of it being like a, hey, this is how I'm gonna make money in Spring Hill, they actually were like, yo, we love gaming too. Let's bring people a spot where they can come, jump in, enjoy what we enjoy, and just do it. Just have a scene.
It seems to be that's what's going on. It does seem like a pretty good community. Everybody's pretty chill. Everybody seems to know everybody, you know. Like, we were watching everybody game just a few minutes ago over there, and, like, Matt just made a comment. Everybody jumped into the conversation, you know, which some places, a lot of people are kind of like, ew, don't talk to me, you know.
Yeah.
Didn't really get any of that. So that was kind of cool. Steve, right before we started, I heard something about you are somewhat of a commentator?
I am.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit? What does that mean? Like, what have you commentated on? Like,
A few of the bigger events.
And please tell me your gamer tag too, the one that you are very well known for.
Firewall. I go under Firewall. I started off actually commentating as something to do for fun. At my friend, he would hold a tournament in Queens. I'm from New Jersey originally. I would drive into Queens.
okay.
And then actually playing the tournament, won it a few times, felt that I was too high of a skill level for the tournament, so I just decided, hey, you know what?
Holy shit.
I'm gonna go and try this commentary thing. And just every week, it just
You're
got
too
better
good
and
to
better and
play. We need you to talk about what's happening.
That's funny. That's awesome.
So yeah,
Wow.
I kind of just took a back seat to that and started commentating for some reason. I just had this natural knack for it.
Yeah,
Not
that's
only-
awesome.
Typically, what do you commentate?
NRS games, for those who don't know, is NetherRealm Studios, so I do Mortal Kombat and the Injustice series.
Okay.
is
You
what
actually
I'm known
work with
for.
those companies, or
I do not personally know,
okay,
but
They have
or
commissioned a
contracted
service
with them?
no, never been contracted with them. Just done some major events that they
Oh,
have
okay.
actually thrown money into. Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice.
That's pretty cool. Is it difficult to keep up sometimes?
Not for me. I don't know. I just feel I'm trying to be humble about it, but I feel like I have a natural knack for it.
Yeah, you have a
where
good eye for what you're seeing and,
And
actually
what kind
describing
of
it.
what kind of commentating is it? Play by play or color?
I do play-by-play, and I'm one of the few in the FGC that actually does shoutcasting.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit different than everybody else, where a lot of people have more of like a tandem back and forth banter.
Yep.
I am in your face, shouting, bringing energy. It's come down to the point where people in the crowd in the event will actually come towards the commentary
That's cool.
booth
To see what's
just
going
to
on and-
hear
yeah.
what's going on, and it's a very tight knit and very like grassroots style of
Yeah.
esports where I'm only a few feet away from the competitors, and they'll look over. We're talking top players making big bucks doing this.
Yeah.
We'll actually look over, smiling, laughing, having a good time with my commentary.
That's pretty
So
stinking cool.
It's been a blessing.
What have been some events that like high level events that you've commentated at?
Well, we had an only NRS tournament called TCW, which ran for 2 years, which was very successful. NRS actually sponsored the event too. The TO actually got a job with a streaming company to do other things, so the tournament's on hiatus right now. But I've had some big success there, and then we went to Tennessee a few years ago.
Commentating, it was
And
fun.
It was a lot of fun, and I got up on the mic, and that was where everybody just started to migrate towards the commentary booth.
Yeah, it was a
and had
blow up.
really
Trying to
good
fight
time.
space just to watch them.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Wow.
So
That's
much
awesome.
fun.
Big
Yeah.
crowds, you know what? And it's a pressure-packed situation, but it always came so natural. I didn't feel any pressure, and
Right.
because I love, like, I would be that guy that would compete, do well in the major event, and would stay until the wee hours of the night watching. I love to spectate, and I think that's a lot where my skill came from, my love for the game and the actual time I put in watching and studying the game. So where I kind of fell off as a player, I blew up as a commentator.
Gotcha.
It was just like a perfect storm, and then bam, I just took off with it.
That's pretty rad. Now, this might be a question for both of you or just Donnie, I'm not sure, but Bobby was telling me that you guys are part of a group or started a group of gamers here locally or something. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, the beauty of it is that we wanted to start an organization to make people come to us to play games that we love playing, and we all wound up running an organization to watch people play and then talk about them playing the game. So we went from playing it, starting an organization to have people come play with us, to giving them a place to go, giving them a foundation to represent their names and everything.
You ended
just
up
watch them now.
You ended up managing and organizing it and realized that was a full-time job pretty much, huh?
Making the people that have the venues get a little bit of the, try to help them out, give them shout outs, celebrate them, everything. And we learned, by the way, Steve helped us fire this off. We heard from our friend John LoBianco, who is one of the original creators of Throwdown Gaming, TDG.
Yeah, I remember that.
So that's just to clarify, that's what your group is called, Throwdown Gaming.
Yep.
Okay.
So this was just a thing where we had such a good feeling for NRS games, competing in them, trashing each other on a very friendly level. There was no, fisticuffs and nothing. But we just all had the right blend. We all knew where to take each other verbally, how far we can go, how far we can take each other physically in a game, and we just vibed. We can teach each other tech. We all had different friends, different connections, and we all have ways of benefiting each other in the scene, where if someone is good at the game executing something, another person is good at bringing them places to extend that ability.
Gotcha.
So he's in commentating, right? But he's a really talented player. However, we gave him a format to where he can do whichever he wants at any given moment and enjoy it. And when he shows up, there's a scene. If he doesn't show up, there's people talking about him. But it ended up going from that to just Throwdown in itself. Now we're at NeverBoard Gaming. People still talk about Throwdown Gaming. People are still coming to hang out with Throwdown Gaming people.
Yeah, that's interesting.
If I could jump in on it, going back to saying, I was from New Jersey. I went, my wife had family here. I have family in Florida, so we made the move down. And the interesting part was I looked on Facebook, and I'm like, Spring Hill Fighting Game Community, and up comes Throwdown Gaming. I'm like,
when you guys were in that PC shop for the first time, I remember that.
At 40 Compete, and I'm looking, I'm like, there's a gaming community. What do they play? And it's like Mortal Kombat. I'm like, get out of here. I hopped in. They invited me into their Facebook chat. I had like a dozen friends before I even moved down here.
Established.
And then I hopped in, and the first time I came, everybody welcomed me with open arms, and then we just started beating the snot out of each other. So it's just been, it's hard to move over 1,000 miles. You move your entire life.
Oh my gosh!
I left a lot behind, and then I hopped right into another family. Some of my best friends are here. I love it. I can't believe it happened. Yeah. So I'm very happy.
And free babysitting helps.
Yeah.
When he needs it, it's there.
Yeah.
If he ever calls on it, it's there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, that's nice.
So getting a little bit more into gaming and stuff and Throwdown. So typically, what games are your guys' niche or your specialty?
Ooh, well, definitely NetherRealm Studios, former Midway, for those who are a little young don't know. It's very much a NetherRealm community. We do like a little anime here and there. For me personally, I try to play as much as I can without breaking my own skill barrier, hurting my skill set. Because if you jump into too many games, it starts to hurt your execution.
Master of none type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep,
so
I get that.
We tried to do things where at one point we had multiple games going, but we started noticing that certain piles of people would come in more than others. So we focused. So Street Fighter got lower because Spring Hill's different. Tampa's got a really high level Guilty Gear Street Fighter scene.
Okay.
Tekken's really big there.
Yeah.
Here, for some reason, we have a lot of Blahs. We have a ton of Smash. and NetherRealm games seem to just queue up people. Well, Dragon Ball just came out too, and that seems to be popping off really well. But NetherRealm specifically is like something they just love Mortal Kombat. Something about the way that superhero DC Comics thing works with Injustice, and something with Mortal Kombat with the characters.
It's a nostalgia, I believe,
Yeah,
because
they
we're
connect
all
to it.
right around. Most of us are over 30. There's a bunch of guys in the lower 20s. There's some 18-year-olds. I mean, we've got a wide variety of age groups. But for us, the older ones, we grew up. I mean, I remember when Mortal Kombat was ported over to console. I was 4 years old, tapping on a controller when I was, in '92 playing Mortal Kombat. I wanted to play the blue guy that froze you.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then it just, and then you'd hop into an arcade, and I'm a 5-year-old on a step stool beating 30-year-old men at this game, and it's just
Did you grow
nostalgia.
up here in Spring Hill?
Oh yeah,
Can you remember going to Buccaneer Bay and there being a long line just to play Mortal Kombat at the
it
little
was
arcade there?
wild how much.
Do you remember
Oh,
that?
yeah,
It really
absolutely,
impresses
yeah.
me to see that the arcades now have all gone to the ticket games.
Yeah.
Where if they had this space and they realized that just a little advertising, they could bring out these well-known games like that. Like if you brought an old Mame board with Killer Instinct in it, you could not find enough space for people to come play that game. Because people love those games. Like NFL Blitz had an arcade. They had an arcade station.
Oh, I remember that.
I remember that.
Lanes, and you could play NFL Blitz. And you would literally have $100 in line just waiting to play this
to
game
go, yeah.
over and over again.
It's really crazy how it's transitioned like that. Like we even went to my wife and I. We took my son for his birthday to what's that place? The new place in Dave and Buster's.
Wait, are we all married?
I am, and he is. Yeah.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah. We're all old dudes. Thanks for reminding me.
Married with kids.
Yeah, here we go.
Neat.
But yeah, so we went to Dave and Buster's out in Brandon because we're thinking, arcade, we're sick of the Chuck E. Cheeses and all that, and my son's kind of over all that stuff, So we go out there, and even that it's either a ticket game or a shooter game, which is fine. Light gun games are great, but how many of them can you play?
The dusty Tekken machine in the back.
No, not even.
Really? Because
No.
the Dave and Buster's in New York had the Tekken machine all the way in the back.
Cherish
That was
it.
the only fighter.
Wow.
Cherish it and go back,
It was
dude.
an
Seriously.
antiquated Tekken, with dust covered all over it. And I walked in and I'm like, everybody wants to play some Time Crisis. I had to play some Time Crisis.
Time Crisis, that's a light gun game that I
That's a
get.
staple.
And
then-
they do have that here, just so you know. If
with
you're
the
wondering.
pedal? Oh, my God,
the
it
pedal.
makes me so
the
happy.
cover pedal. Oh,
my
man.
gosh, it makes
But then,
me so
and then
Mind
I'm like,
blowing.
Yeah,
I
you know?
have to find a fighter. There has to be a fighter
yeah.
here. And I went in the back, and there's like Tekken 4.
Oh,
my God.
when they got rid of the last one at Spring Hill Lanes had Marvel vs. Capcom, the original one there.
Oh, I remember that.
Some incredibly inconsiderate young gentleman placed his elbow through it
Whoa.
for whatever reason, they said, because the gentleman George that owns it and was running that arcade station there, he was like, well, we don't know anybody that fixes those types of projection unit, and the board got a little bit damaged and everything.
Yeah.
And you don't have that here, because only Stop and Plays, they're the only place that I know that even has anyone that does that kind of soldering and welding.
Yeah.
But it's like, once you fry the board, you got to find the new stick, you got to find the new memory cord on all that stuff and all the little pieces for it. It's amazing.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That depressed me when that happened.
Speaking of, since we're on the classic arcade game, path here, have you guys been to down in Tarpon Springs to the Replay Arcade?
No. I've heard
Have
of
you
Player
heard of
One
it?
and Super Saiyan. They all do like, they have that 3,000 game system where it's like, it looks like an old arcade station, but it's like a board with 3,000 games on it. I've been to Player One and Super Saiyan, but I've never heard of this other one.
If you're longing for the good old days, if you will,
Like old school arcade games.
legit fighting arcade stand-up, games,
like Virtua Fighter?
Slap a quarter on the machine.
I'm not sure if Virtua Fighter's there. I wouldn't be surprised
No,
if they
but
wouldn't get their hands on
there's
one.
also
But
older arcade like Pac-Man.
but you'll find all that. But I think when I was there, I mean, they had all the Mortal
They even had
Kombats, they had
Mortal
all the
Kombat,
Street
yeah.
Fighters, they had like all of that era. They had a Tekken machine, and things like that. I think they had a Blitz machine even.
Really? That's
yeah.
intriguing.
But so it's like I don't know. Don't quote me on the price. It's like $10 or something all day. You can come and go, and you can play all you want. They're all on
Hate
free
me
play.
there, yeah.
Oh, I know.
They're all in free play. Yeah, I actually did a video of it. If you check on the VCR YouTube channel, there was like a quick little video I put up. I think it's on our Facebook too.
Cool.
So you could see like a walkthrough of what they had as of over the summer.
That's
But yeah, so if you
awesome.
guys are really longing for some stuff like that,
Yeah.
there is a place not too far
Yeah.
where you can still do that. So pretty cool. Talk to me a little bit, since you guys are super into this tournament fighting and video game fighting and stuff like that. I see a mix of like custom controllers / controller boards.
I don't have mine today with me. I came straight from work.
Explain that to me a little bit.
It's all actual preference. I mean, some games, yes, there are little tweaks you could do to these things to make it a little bit more advantageous. Some that, a peripheral actually improving your style of play. In fighting games, it's a little weird. You find a pad that works for you, or you find a fight stick that works for you.
Yeah.
See, in NetherRealm Studio games like MK and Injustice, it's usually pad games.
Okay.
Pad meaning just a normal controller that comes with it. Me, I prefer fight stick. And especially in Mortal Kombat, it's rare that somebody actually uses it. And there's little tweaks that you could do and customize springs and actuators and buttons.
That's
sticks.
very much a feel thing, though.
Definitely.
So.
Oh, I've got a 4-pound spring, which everybody
that's
trying
heavy
to move it. People are like, I'm going to get carpal tunnel doing this. Yeah. The second I go to anything lower than 4 pounds, like a 3 or 2 pound spring with a normal actuator, I feel like it's mushy and I can't do it.
That's on his joystick. By the way.
Yeah. No, I thank you for clarifying. By the way, so is that because you're very reactive with your stick? See, that makes sense though. I get that.
There's many.
It's not like you're gonna go play a platformer with that and hold that 4 pound over the whole time.
That's the thing. Like I'm a reactionary player, so I'm what's called a punisher or a turtle. I will sit back and wait and whiff punish. Somebody throws a move, I'm backing up, trying to gauge their distance and then punishing. So I'm always kind of holding back a little bit, just gently, and then I come right back in. Larger actuator, short throw, reaction, and now you're done.
It makes some controllers reaction too. Like if you have jittery hands like me, I'm at a 2.5. Sometimes it's good if it's that hard because you'll commit too early. And that'll actually help you. Yeah, so it'll give you that resistance so you don't full commit to it.
You need to mean it, essentially.
And the beauty of the fight stick, too, is the buttons, depending on how you lay out, you can make silent buttons, but I prefer a very loud button.
Yes.
What I do, we have very punishable wake-up moves. So when you get knocked down, you have an invincible move that you can do, but if blocked, it's very punishable. So I will sit there next to you, not only move my shoulders, but also hit a fake button. I call it the fake up. Instead of a wake up, I call it the fake up.
Interesting.
Hit the button. It's gamesmanship in an offline setting. Where,
so taking it to that mental
I will hit a button
as well.
And they're like, oh, he's waking up. I'm just going to hold block and wait for a punish. Meanwhile, I get up for free and I'm still in charge right now.
Wow.
So there's a little bit of gamesmanship in
there
this.
Really is. There really
and that's
is.
in a peripheral. That's using your peripheral to your advantage.
It's all conditioning in a sense.
Explain to me, I saw 2 of them tonight. They don't have a joystick.
Nope.
That blew my mind.
Those are
What's
called,
up with those?
I don't
get it. I don't get it.
So we find with an actual joystick that your inputs aren't exactly crisp depending on where you're sitting in your lap. When you're at an arcade cabinet, you can position yourself and it never shifts. Yeah. I have some instances where I'm trying to get comfortable and I'm a little canted on my lap.
I got you.
Where I get a bad input on a directional. With the hitbox,
there is none of that.
There is none of that.
Because you're not physically moving.
More technical than
dude, this is deep. This is deep. We're like almost like professionals at like understanding fighting games after tonight. Like,
yeah, I know. I went from being a 3-week-old in terms of fighting games going to graduating to 1-year-old.
Yeah. So is that more like and I'm not up to date on the newest of the fighting games, so bear with me here. But you come from our era, so you'll understand when I do this reference. But in like Street Fighter 2. Old school, you're gonna do like a down right attack or whatever. So the idea is that not only the motion or the moving the box around, but it's also there's no mistake that you went down and right instead of maybe down and not quite right because you're hitting a button action.
You're hitting a definitive action. You're putting it into what we call a square gate. A lot of our sticks will have either a square gate or an octagonal gate. Octagonal gates are great for games like Street Fighter that require a circle motion.
Correct, yep.
Which NRS games have more back-forward or down-back, down-forward motions.
Okay.
Right.
So now with that, I'm using a square gate for that. If I put an octagonal gate, you'll notice a million input errors that I'm getting bad directionals. That is completely eliminated from the question. When you have this, it's called a hitbox with the 4-button directionals, and then your normal Japanese spread on the 8 button.
So to explain what it looks like physically, because it's an audio thing here, you've got like if you were to put your four fingers excluding your thumb, if you were to put those down like where the buttons would just open your hand slightly and just lay it down, those buttons would where they would line up essentially where your hand would fall.
Very similar.
And one of those is an up, one of those is down, one of those is left, one of those is right. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's very similar to what what people call WASD's WASD.
Okay. Yeah. So
on
like
a
PC
keyboard,
gaming.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
So you'll have an up, WA and D, but your S button will be more like a space bar, which we use for up, for jump.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you'll have that, and I actually did not like the hitboxes because I always got jump mixed up with this button.
Okay, I could see
Thinking that was going to be up. When Donnie explained it, it's like a space bar. This was only an hour ago. And this is something that I was on the fence about buying years ago. Now, if I would have known that, I would have probably bought one.
Think of it this way. When you move to your left, your brain has to think about moving left. Then your brain has to tell your feet to move left. Then you have to balance your entire body to move left or you're just going to fall.
Okay.
The hitbox is one action. You touch left, no joystick movement, no hand movement, no lap shifting your stick, nothing. It's touch it with your finger and you move left. Everything is balanced in one swing.
The way you explain it makes total sense.
Yeah.
But I have to believe that there's a severe learning curve to this.
You ever played an MMO online? Like, so World of Warcraft, for instance?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's, what is it, WSAD?
Yes.
Yeah.
Think of it that
Wasad.
way. Your movement is all in
But
just
that's
the
still a
button tab.
logical layout, though.
Sure.
Forward, back, left, and right.
Yeah,
These are in a
absolutely.
line.
But picture
though.
it as
And how do
maybe
you jump in WoW?
more of a,
Spacebar.
but more of a. Picture it more of that learning curve of using one of those RPG mice that has a million buttons.
Oh,
on it.
yeah.
True.
But
True.
after a while, you're flying with this thing.
That's a
Where it
good
used
point.
to be
Yeah.
WASD, there's more buttons now to contend
Definitely.
with.
I got you.
And now
So-
once you become proficient with it, it's deadly. And you notice a
this
lot of
is-
hitbox players. Someone who goes from stick to a hitbox, you watch their skill rise.
Dude,
So-
this is like blowing my mind.
Do you
It's,
see this as something
it's
that you
deep.
might now be considering moving to, or are you hardcore joystick?
I've been playing on a joysticks, for probably about 10 years now.
That's
What's
a
your
decade of
preference?
muscle memory.
What's your
It's the same
preference?
thing. It's literally, since I've seen an arcade stick, it just feels right every single time. But I'm a pad mixer. When I play NRS games, I have to be pad because I like the way the D-pad input is versus a joystick.
Gotcha.
Because I'm a hyper-aggressive player. I
Okay.
am glass cannon. I'm going to have the fastest inputs I can get, which would be for me a pad because I'm so conditioned to it over so many years. I'm 33.
Right.
And I've been playing with it since I was 5, and D-pad has been in my in my life
It is. It is.
since I was 5 years old with a couple of buttons. Then Sega Genesis came out with that pad. Now I own a Hori Pro Commander that is a Sega Genesis on steroids. It has R1, R2, L1, L2 on the top,
Right.
And their hairpin trigger. Just as soon as I even highlight that with my finger, it is
going.
activated.
I have a
with the trigger.
story about that controller. One day I just was a little upset with how I was playing, and I thought, maybe a peripheral change will be in my future. So Donnie comes over, he goes, I got this Commander, you want to buy it off me? I said, yeah, sure, let me buy it. And I started playing with it in the lab, what we call the lab training mode, where I was labbing with it. It's feeling great, and then I went to a tournament. And some players that I blew out of the water, no questions asked, started taking games off of me. I was dropping inputs. And I was down 2-0 in the best of 3. Took the controller, spiked it on the ground, went to my backpack, grabbed my fight stick, and won 3-2. And then I just handed it back to Donnie.
I gave it back to him,
fixed
bro.
He actually fixed
I was
it.
like, damn.
Very durable.
So
Highly
that was the
recommended.
moment.
Oh,
that
damn.
was the actual moment that I realized that it
That's
was
not for
solely
you.
fight. It was solely stick, and I'm just gonna stick with it.
His brain's that way, and the same with like if I play Street Fighter, can't do it on pad because I've been playing it so long on joystick.
Muscle
controls,
memory.
It's all there.
Yeah.
My arms are leaned forward. My stomach is right in front of me. My hips are sat right where they need to be. My knees are up. There is a stick in my lap every time I play that game.
So-
But for some reason, NetherRealm is a pad game to me.
So talk to me about rules and regulations in different tournaments and things like that, and maybe stuff that you guys have hosted or organized. what do you allow? What do you not allow? Is it game specific? Where do we go with that?
The beauty of fighting games is it's hard to cheat.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, there are some things where you can input scripts. It's very expensive if you wanted to.
You're talking about what's referred to as maybe macros too,
Exactly.
where it's automatically doing stuff on a single button press.
Yeah, on a single button press. We have things called just frame combos, which are a 60th of a second. We're talking 60 frame game. One frame is a 60th of a second to get this inputted properly. So this guy comes in with a macro, can hit that one right off a reaction
every time,
and then get the link to extend a combo that would almost be near impossible for most players, except for like.
Now
pros
this is
and
something
stuff.
that somebody such as one of y'all would pick up on almost immediately.
I never ran into it.
It would be blatantly obvious.
It's more of an online issue where you can't see.
You don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, you can literally link anything.
Now historically, you guys fighter game fanatics, I guess. I'm not sure, fans, enthusiasts. I'm sorry. You guys typically, from what I've seen, you guys aren't fans of online. For competition,
really
latency.
When you touch a monitor, like what we have here, BenQs, Acer, Asus, when they are literally giving you the input the moment you touch, and you go home and you have a fraction of a second to a second delay from what you feel your finger do and what you see on the screen, when you have that change, and then you try to go to a competition, now these people have only visited a competition, a local competition. They are trained on these monitors all the time. You go home and start practicing online outside of a training mode, and you start playing people at 15 ms, 20 ms, because it's very rare to get under 8 ms.
I was going to say, even that's still pretty good.
It will cut into your muscle memory. That's the most important thing.
So you go from playing online with somebody to that. You're used to that.
Yes.
So is it common not to play online then?
No, actually, there's a lot of. I mean, the fact that
that's crazy.
The netcodes have gotten so good.
No, it's all good, man.
Chitten's coming in.
Nice.
The netcode has gotten very good. We've got rollback, GGPO, where you can it'll register almost like an offline thing, and once it registers that hit, it'll actually jump back in reverse. You'll notice possibly like the double hitting sound trade, but like a fraction of a second later, it'll actually go to the person that got it, which is it's getting better, and we've got high-profile tournaments like War of the Gods and things like that. Right now, Cell Games is going on for Dragon Ball Fighters.
And it's all online.
And Combat Cup, ESL Pro League, where there is a lot of people that are solely online tournament players.
Right.
I hate to say a lot of times when they do go into an offline setting, they're that guy that played on a 35 millisecond delay Samsung television with a Wi-Fi connection, going into a BenQ with a 1 millisecond delay and has no chance.
What a noob. So let me go nerdy with you guys on this a little bit. I have constantly gotten into disagreements online with people over being able to notice lag. At what level is it that you actually can truthfully notice and not? Where is that millisecond that actually is real?
Play the game, right? You put it in training mode. You can consistently hit something 30, 40 times. It's not rare for a person that likes games to be in the training position, like in training mode, 2 hours a day minimum, maybe 1 hour. If they're just so talented, they've been playing the game for a long time, they'll start minimizing. But when you start off in these games, you're in that lab 2 hours a day.
Okay.
You're hitting something consistently. You jump online. All of a sudden, you start getting strange drops. Your inputs aren't hitting. Your whiff punishes aren't looking right. Your anti-airs get really sluggish. They're not doing anything different. You're just not able to touch them the way you set it up, say if you were to play locally. Like when we used to do like King of the King of the Hill. Really cool format in Mortal Kombat. Even though we're in the same town, 10 miles away from each other or less, you would notice like you're down 2 in Mortal Kombat as your uppercut. All of a sudden you're trading. You're getting hit doing a down 2, whereas it should never take a trade.
So what would you estimate is that millisecond that's the threshold where you can and can't tell?
11.
11.
Easily.
11.
Yeah.
So at 11, that's
And that's going to be rare to even get online.
like a frame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
well,
1 out of 30 frames.
Normally, you'll and NRS has been great with
Not
actually
even.
putting a millisecond counter on there,
Right.
and you'll
Oh, wow.
notice, well,
Yep.
a good one, the best ones you'll find, and it's Donnie and I playing on very expensive internet on. I played on PC with a custom built PC out of
Doesn't
out of this
matter.
world.
Doesn't matter.
50 milliseconds was the best I've seen.
that's
50,
about
40
that's
to
about
50.
right. That's about right. Because it doesn't matter what you have or pay for or whatever. It's. I mean, Matt, you can speak to this. He's actually a network engineer. You're in their hands after that, and it's not even necessarily their fault. You're
No,
covering
that's
vast
right.
distances and multiple jumps and hops and
Packets
things
and
like
all
that.
that stuff I've heard.
Yeah.
There's certain ways of delivering and absorbing the packets that are
Well, I
coming.
mean,
into
it's
with
all
their
going to
system.
be UDP packets
Yeah.
anyway.
It would all be, but and a lot. I guess a lot of things come into play with that. So yeah, it is out of your hands.
Well, we're talking about a game that's like fractions of a second on reactions and inputs, and we're talking about taking so much of this away, trying to put it into an online format. It's not for me.
So I would be really interested, and this would be almost totally self-serving for me, but I would almost really like to get you guys on my retro setup to see if you can actually like do like a sciencey type test to see if you guys actually can determine as far down as to 11 milliseconds.
Oh, give me Raiden. I'll show you
Now,
just how fast I
if we
notice
could
it.
prove it, it's bad for me. But if we can
Oh,
prove
because
it,
your frame
If
rate.
I get the 3 down ones with sub in the corner,
Right.
if I get the 3 down ones,
If I can get my 4-set juggle 1 frame input with Raiden, where it's literally frame perfect without macroing it.
Gabe getting the 2 frame Kung Lao
Oh
link.
man.
They're speaking like Chinese to me.
I actually follow somewhat, and if
In
you guys
Mortal
check
Kombat,
out,
you have a juggle, and I mean interrupt, but you have
No,
a
no,
juggle
please.
system in this game where you start catching gravity on certain combos.
Okay.
When I say a 1 frame combo with Raiden, I have to hit you. I do a forward 1-2, and he does this like quick chop forward, right? Your gravity starts kicking in, so now you're at an 18% gravity increase. So you're going to start falling faster. So I got to hit you again, dash it, which in Mortal Kombat you have a dash system, so I have to step forward real quick and shimmy because the game has to acknowledge that I moved to make that next 1 frame combo react. I'm fighting gravity in a game, trying to hit you with a 1 frame move 3 times in a row, and then trying to get a special input to push you to the corner.
and in case anybody listening did not think that fighting games were that deep, you just heard it.
Oh, we haven't even started.
You know what this is
That's
reminding
the
me of a
optimal.
little bit actually is when I was deep into StarCraft, like how even though it sounds, I mean, as far as the mechanics of StarCraft
Right.
go, it's
You're
a
not
lot.
far
It's
apart,
very
though.
different.
Yes.
But it's the way you guys are talking is like exactly the way I used to
Analyzing
think about StarCraft.
percentages and
Motion.
frames and
Well,
things
well,
like
well,
that.
it wasn't
Where
really
they're
analyzing
at.
frames. It was more your APM, your actions per minute, like
Yes.
how fast,
Yep.
like be able to
Right.
just do things quickly and fast, and then have to analyze the screen and like move around, and it's
So-
And remembering spawn points too. You have to remember everything about where
Yeah.
they could be versus where you're scouting.
remembering time. StarCraft 2 made that all much easier. StarCraft 1, that was where you had to definitely
That was
master a
Bill
lot
Nye
of the
level stuff right there.
So speaking of the actions per minute and you guys being living and dying by it essentially, right?
KO, we don't kill anybody.
KO.
them.
No, I fatality people. I'm a Mortal Kombat.
He's
No-
not-
no
there you go.
babalities.
It's all KOs.
Oh no, we don't have him in the past
No, we
game,
don't.
which kind of upset me because that
no
was
big
my
hits.
bread
Do they
and
even have
butter.
animalities anymore?
No.
There's
It's just all
right now,
good old
no,
days.
there's fatalities, there's brutalities,
Yes.
but instead of having that exorbitantly long combo where you just
Yeah.
explode them into 15 femurs,
Yeah, it would be
14
like
rib
100
cages.
100 combos.
Exactly.
Cages, yeah.
And
100-hit combo.
it's a special move that works. Like I played Jason Voorhees, so if I did a shoulder charge, it would at the perfect time and eliminate his health bar. While he was grounded, his head would actually fly horizontally and just right off his head. Sub-Zero had the classic ice clone.
Yeah.
Well, you can shatter it in this game. If you're grounded and you shatter and it finishes the life bar, it actually goes jagged into the person's head and starts killing them.
And that would be a brutality.
And it's a
then.
brutality,
So
but it's
a timing
almost like a
thing.
it's a timing
Yeah.
fatality
Yeah.
where you don't have to input a certain move
It's
after
no longer
the fact.
100-hit combos
Yeah.
anymore.
Right.
But they only
Those
pass
were
out.
so
They
hard.
don't die. No one dies in these games. It's
Wow.
very much
Bring
just
your kids to NeverBoard Gaming.
just-
Somebody
it's
is
very-
trying
They
to
only
be
pass out even when they explode into little pieces.
Well, believe it or not,
still alive.
believe it or not, the
Yeah.
ESRB rating started with Sub-Zero's fatality. The neck
Yep.
rip was the causing for ESRB to
I remember
start
that.
making ratings for
It was
video
that
games.
Jack, that one senator who started all.
Yeah,
Jack,
so it was
something.
Mortal Kombat, and it was what's that Sega CD game? We actually talked about this. Night Trap. It was Mortal Kombat and Night Trap that when they went to Congress, those were the two that they were pissed off about.
Yeah.
Funny story about Night Trap, which was rolled in with that, is that it got re-released recently and had to go through the ESRB to be re-rated. Now it was the worst game ever made, right? It got a teen rating currently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, pretty funny. So
That's wild. By neck rip. He really meant it just bends a little bit to a certain point.
It's a hand.
Boy.
It's just a little bit to where it just kind of like makes you slowly fall asleep.
Donnie is trying very hard to be super politically correct
And,
with the
and
gaming
family
terms.
friendly. And
Yeah,
we're
family
not.
friendly.
It's not like Thanksgiving where the turkey is just torn to shreds. It's nothing violent like that. It's very much just
I tore some chicken to
I
shreds
don't know
today.
what game we were watching out there, but it was nothing. There was everything violent about it. So, you guys, thank you so much for talking with us, man. It was seriously mind blowing. Like we learned so much tonight.
Do you guys have any questions for us? Or
Yeah.
anything?
Just one.
Yeah.
Like, how did you come up with VCR gaming? I know what a VCR is. I get that. But is that like the era?
I
I
can
don't
tell you.
remember. It's
So, our previous music producer for the show, who did the theme, Corey, we used to work with him. Him and Han, well, what the hell are we going to call it? We can't even upload till we have a name.
Sure.
yeah, because we'd already recorded. Well, no, we hadn't even recorded yet, but we had plans. And
We
all
were
that.
ready to go,
Yeah.
but we couldn't really. Unfortunately, it's one of those things. It's not like you can have like when you start a band, you
Yeah.
can play music and then worry about the name later.
Sure.
It doesn't work like that,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
So Corey was just throwing shit out there, and we're like, well, we're really into retro, this and that. So he started coming up with. Just different letters and seeing what he could make work. And the original was Vintage Classic Retro, but it was a play on VCR, so
Gotcha.
something from the retro age, which we've adapted now to
Yeah.
Vintage Current Retro because people are, call you out a little bit on that because we do talk a lot about current games. We
Sure.
do play current games, obviously.
Cool.
We're
Yeah.
not stuck in the
They're
90s.
so good. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? I'd say it's a good 50-50 blend for
Yeah,
us.
for the most part, yeah.
So it's vintage, current, retro. Corey came up with the original and gaming, obviously. So there you go. VCR Gaming. It actually does have a meaning, but whatever. We needed a name. And
That's awesome.
It's what happened.
Yeah.
Where can we find your guys' organization? You guys individually? Go ahead. Pitch your stuff. This is your chance.
I'm on Twitter at firewall_FGC.
Okay.
Find me out. Shout outs to my sponsors, Hazardous Gaming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We have at Throwdown Gaming. On Twitter, we also have at Lildooch, LILDOOTCH. Anything general to talk about, but I love discussing game data, what I expect new games to come out with, what I want to see character-wise in fighting games. I love taking part in polls and release that information to the developers because we've been in so long that sometimes they listen to us.
By the way,
Sometimes.
he actually was a fan of No Man's Sky, so don't take a word he says
I did. I loved it.
seriously.
Ooh,
Yeah, I loved it.
that's a hot
I love
point
everything
right
about
there.
Corbin. Everything. Full Metal Alchemist.
I enjoyed the game too. So.
Full Metal Alchemist sold me on that game. I'm like, hey, Carbon, hey, that's one of the main bases things you built up at him. Why not? Hey, let's go for it.
That would spawn a whole nother conversation, so
Definitely.
that's good to know, though. Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
And,
Thanks, guys.
An absolute honor.
All right. We see you guys again. That wraps up this week's episode of the VCR Gaming Podcast. On behalf of myself and my co-host Matthew, we'd like to thank you all for joining us. Special shout out goes to NeverBoard Gaming. Thank you guys so much for hosting us. We had a great time. We learned a whole lot. You guys were excellent hosts. We cannot wait to go back. Should you find yourself in the Central Florida area, please stop by and check them out. Play yourself some video games or some Magic the Gathering. Tell them Matt and Matt sent you.